to put rerun in the comment section if you happen to be watching this now, because I just went live and nobody is in here right now. So if you're watching this, you're watching the rebroadcast. So type rerun in the comments. Give me a minute. I'll be up with the show momentarily. We got one more stream to go. TikTok, Instagram, Live, Substack. We're going to be on TikTok, Instagram, Substack, YouTube, and Clapper. So bear with me. This is this is going to be Friday night politics. I'll go ahead and actually I'm going to go ahead and prematurely start the other streams just to so the show will be more in the running by the time I get this last stream up. All of the folks will be filtered in because uh, we got a couple of topics I want to talk about tonight, and one is making me think, shit. What is the purpose? What are we doing? In the comments, OG Reload says Uncle T $. Is that Uncle Tom or is that what are you trying to say there, OG Roland? OG Bobby OG. Take care, says Eric Von Eric. Good evening, Eric. Everyone doing good? I hope so. I absolutely hope so. Delete schedule. We don't want to schedule a live stream. We're trying to get this going here. Oops. Let's make sure I get this right here. We're going to be. I mean, did you hear? We may have another. I don't want to say war, but another military excursion is coming up. I cannot believe this shit. What are we doing? I want to hear this from you folks. Hopefully, I can hear from some MAGA. I don't understand it. I'm going to go ahead and once again plead ignorance because I don't know what the purpose of this stuff is, what the purpose of what is, look, they often say while everybody else is playing checkers, Trump is playing chess. Shit, maybe there's some validity to that because I'm starting to get to the point where, like, I don't understand what he's doing. I do not understand what our current commander in chief is doing. So give me a second. I think we got the live stream coming up here. Having said that, good evening, folks. Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Looks like all the platforms are up. This is indeed Friday Night Politics. And I got a couple topics I want to run by you because one is in the news. It is probably going to be dominating the news in the next few weeks. And listen, when it comes to the Trump administration, you only get a very short period of time to dominate the news. What dominates the news today is almost irrelevant tomorrow. Things move so damn fast in the Trump administration. It's hard to keep up with it. My God, it's hard to keep up with it. Once this is all said and done, if they end up writing a book on the Trump administration, it's going to have to be like an encyclopedia. They're going to have to divide it up into eras or divide it up into particular news stories and conflicts. I mean, like every other day, there's something new. I mean, we just met with China and a bunch of other shit was before that, obviously with Iran. And before that, a bunch of other shit was obviously like with Venezuela and so on and so forth. Appreciate the hat and mustache to start the program off right, Sexy Red. Yeah! Thank you very much. So I want to go ahead and get right into it. We often bring clips. Tonight is no exception. Happy Friday to all of you folks. Hopefully you're looking forward to a nice, relaxing weekend. I sure am myself. And we will be live this weekend. So if you enjoy what we do here, you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, follow the program if you're watching us on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, or Clapper, and give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube, because we will be here this weekend. Mike, I appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you very much. And Buck, I think, was it Buck? Somebody else sent it too, so thank you very much. If I missed you, my apologies. So, starting out the program, I don't know what to say on this shit, but with the Trump administration, like I said, the hits keep coming. So if I can get my damn computer straight. But this is what is currently in the news.
Breaking news, CBS News has learned the United States is taking steps to indict Raul Castro, the 94-year-old former president of Cuba and brother of Fidel Castro. According to U.S. officials familiar with the matter, the potential indictment is in connection with the 1996 downing of a plane operated by a humanitarian group. Now, the news comes as the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, traveled to Cuba today to meet with government officials. Sources at the agency tell CBS News the meeting was to present Cuba with steps its government must do in order to build a productive relationship with the U.S.
So you hear what's being said here. This guy's, what, 94 years old? One of the remaining Castro brothers. So they want to indict him a la Maduro style. So they want to take out the government in Cuba. And currently the CIA is in Cuba basically telling them, either step down or we come back with guns. That's pretty much what's happening right now in Cuba, is they're telling their government, telling Castro, who represents the government, either step down or we're coming back with guns. Now, make no mistake about it, before we get into the whole argument, and thank you, Rod S., for the hat and mustache. Appreciate you guys showing some love early in the show. Thank you very much, Rod. Let's make no mistake about it. Even if this guy is guilty of whatever the hell they're saying that he took down an airliner back in the mid-90s, what is that, almost 40 years ago, 30 years ago. So if he did this, look, he should be held to account. I'm okay with that if he actually committed some major felonies, killed innocent people. Hold him accountable. But that's not what this is, folks. That's not what this is. Because we all know that if this individual they want to indict stated, I'll turn myself in, but I have appointed someone else to lead my government, we wouldn't accept that. It ain't about taking this 90-some-odd-year-old man into custody. It's about taking over control of his country. Because not only are we not going to let him be free, we would not let him appoint anybody else. We would not let Cuba vote in another leader. We want to do it. So this is a heist disguised as bringing justice. Very similar to what Venezuela was. It was a heist disguised as stopping fentanyl. This is kind of the method of operation we're dealing with now. We come up with reasons to go in these countries. Remember, going into Iran was supposedly about stopping protesters from being killed. Once we're in the countries, you don't hear anything else about that. I mean, Trump was talking about ending the whole civilization of Iran not long ago. So I do want to run by you folks and see what your opinion is. Do you favor us taking Cuba? Obviously, I don't know how much security risk Cuba is in this day and age. I mean, listen, it is only 90 miles off the coast of Florida, but I mean, we pretty much dominate the seas and things like that. So and we have Guantanamo on the island. So I don't know how much of a national security risk Cuba would be at this point. Pretty much the only issue we have with Cuba is they're constantly sending refugees over here trying to get into our great land. But it's a good chance that what we're about to do here now may end up increasing that. Before I go into the second topic and start taking callers, I do want you to hear a statement made by President Trump a few weeks ago that, to me, in my opinion, sounds quite telling.
Cuba, in its own way, if tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change. They won't be asking us some money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba's the end. All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation.
Does that sound like a man seeking to hold Castro accountable for taking down an airliner? Does it even seem like he's focused on bringing somebody to justice at all? That's essentially akin to the cops busting in your house and they're like, this is a nice house, got floor to ceiling windows and it's vault ceilings, and they're literally taking inventory on how valuable your house is, but they're indicating they're there to arrest you. It's pretty clear they're more interested in the house than they are of arresting anybody. He's talking about it's not in the hurricane zone. He literally is talking about the quality of the land as opposed to anything whatsoever that Castro may be guilty of. So I want you to just simply simply listen to what he was saying there. This is not about bringing Castro to justice. This is a heist of Cuba. And to supposedly get some of our sympathy, we're using Castro, bringing him to justice as some sort of an excuse to get in. But you hear him constantly describing how great Cuba is and all of the benefits of Cuba. So he wants the land. That should be obvious. This is colonization 45.0. Colonization 45.0. Anyway, before we continue, I just want to point one other thing out. I saw this on TikTok. This was so striking. Now, this comes from an editorial, likely online or in a newspaper or something like that. But before I put this photo up here, because it's going to be controversial to some degree. It may resonate with some and it may piss off others, but I'm going to put it on the screen. And I'm going to be asking callers, what the hell does this say to you? This is a suggestion of what we're currently dealing with. That photo. Now, this photo is sort of what is it? The taking of Iwo Jima. Was it Iwo Jima? It ain't Okinawa. The two islands out in the Pacific. One was Iwo Jima and one was Okinawa. I believe this is Iwo Jima, where the soldiers hoisted up the American flag after conquering the island from the Japanese. You've seen a remake of this on September 11th on the rubble of the World Trade Center. Now you see what we have here now. They're doing, this is some editorial. I'm going to be asking callers, what the hell does this mean to you? Is this ridiculous? Is it something that resonates? Is it unrealistic? Is it sarcastic? I want to hear from you. What does this photo say to you? So Iwo Jima was the island, Lisa. Okay, fair enough. I know Iwo Jima and Okinawa, the taking of both of those islands was incredibly perilous. So Iwo Jima. Anyway, so before we start the program, you guys know what we do. You know how we do it. We don't block, ban, or censor. Yeah! Appreciate the hat and mustache, James Harper. Welcome to Friday Night Politics, folks. It is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who the hell you ask. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody on this program. It is always uncensored. It is always MAGA friendly, always has been, always will be. Liberals are welcome as well. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having a dinner with Q. You can be critical of anyone on the program, including yours truly, Brandon Johnson. Yeah! Appreciate the hat and mustache. All of you folks showing your boys some love. Got me damn near choked up. So, getting on with the program. We'll look into the comments, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000. You know how we take the first caller there. Long live the empire, says handsome conservative. That is what it seems like we're trying to do under Trump. If there is one thing that can be said about Trump, he is trying to instill a legacy. Luis Miguel, shout out to you. Thank you very much. He's trying to leave behind a legacy, whether it's things named after him, portraits, statues, putting his name on shit, having things named after him. And make no mistake about it, if we take over Cuba, you can hate on Trump all you want. You can fight to have things that Trump has named after himself and put up. You can fight to have all that shit taken down and hatred of Trump all you want. If we take Cuba, even a liberal is not going to give that shit back. So that will be on Trump's resume for what he did in his legacy. If he takes Cuba and that ends up belonging to America, even a far left liberal, you can put Mamdani in as president. He ain't giving Cuba back. That's just not going to fucking happen. We're going to keep that if we get it. Sexy Red, appreciate the hat and mustache. Trump has endured so much more than Jesus. Trump is king. Says King, you say Trump has endured more than Jesus? Who kicked Trump's ass? I saw Jesus wearing barbed wire and shit around his head. Who's kicked Trump's ass like that? You're putting him in the same category as Jesus. Hey, Coates, I am not. Tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. We'll take the first caller. Trump has endured more than Jesus. Wow. Shirt 14, thank you very much. I'm still laughing at that comment. God and Jesus wishes he could be like Trump. Okay, now we entered the role of trolling. I'll leave it at that. I won't even respond anymore. Once you said that, that's official trolling there. This is a sign in the service member's face. If this happens, this is traitorous, and if anybody has to go before a judge to identify this is treasonous, they are treasonous. You're saying taking Cuba is treason. Well, I mean, listen, I will say this. Are we at 10,000? Tap the damn screen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. There's almost a couple hundred of you in here. Tap the screen. We'll take the first caller. How can we complain at this point if China decides to take Taiwan? What can we possibly say? I mean, you're going to come up with whatever reason you want to go into Venezuela, to go into Cuba, and just remove people and take over a country. At this point, America no longer has any right to say anything at all about China taking Taiwan. We have no right to do it. We're going around taking all these countries. What? We can do it and you can't? The reasons we're giving for taking countries is okay, but your reason is wrong? At this point, I think Taiwan is toast. I think they're toast. Unless the rest of the NATO member nations do something, and I don't know how much they can put up, how much of a fight they can put up with China, but the United States is not likely to help Taiwan. I think that's pretty obvious right now. Marco Rubio indicated that we haven't changed our stance on Taiwan, but he's not president. And we know everybody from Tulsi Gabbard on down has made statements about Trump, and Trump has come along and said they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And Trump did something different. So even though Marco Rubio is saying our stance on Taiwan has not changed, that ain't coming from Trump. And the actions of President Trump show that he's all for taking countries. So I don't know how we can complain about anybody else doing it at this point. Sexy Red, good evening.
You know what?
Not until you tell me.
Let me tell you something. I can't go off on you really hard tonight because I'm kind of high as hell. Don't want to be calm tonight.
What have I even done? I just did a monologue.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Just by looking at your ugly ass, I have to go off on you. You a big, bald-headed Negro that likes to drink bleach and uncooked protein down your throat. That's what you like. I'm sorry, baby.
In other words, happy Friday. In other words, happy Friday.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Friday.
Okay.
Yes. Can you please go get you some chocolate pussy? Can you at least do that this weekend? Can you do that?
Well, shit. Amazon and DoorDash delivery. Can you send me some? I'll be waiting on the porch. I'll be waiting on the porch.
You so special. Well, let me tell you something. You could have handled me. I'll have you.
Shit. Handle you like luggage, goddammit.
I'd handle
you like luggage at SkyCap.
Tim, let me tell you this. 36 Republicans from Oklahoma wanted to pass child marriage. 36, most of the Republican Party.
How young were they going? How young were they talking?
A child.
6?
It doesn't mean a child.
There has to be hold on. In the comments, Prince says this is a complete lie. So he's disagreeing with you.
Go look it up. Google's free, bitch.
Okay, let's ask Alexa.
36.
Alexa, were they trying to pass a law for child marriage in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma just passed a law banning child marriage.
Banning.
The new law sets the minimum marriage age at 18.
18.
No exceptions. Effective November 1st.
No. all of the Democrats and a few Republicans voted no. But 36 of the Republicans voted yes. Look this shit up. They voted yes, but all the Democrats and a few voted no. To fuck.
Okay, so I get your point.
F-U-C-K to your little girls' babies. Yeah, they want to marry your kids off, knock them up before they're 18. That's what your party mofos are looking for. So don't ever come at us liberals, us Democrats, and say we want to F our kids. It's your asses are.
How about this though? Benicio in the comments says you need the parents' permission at 16. So
It doesn't matter. Like, what the hell do you want your kids to be knocked up and married by a man?
well,
You white teeth people are sick.
let me just say this in defense of the Republicans in Oklahoma.
No,
I gotta say this.
dare.
I gotta
swear
say
to
this.
God,
I
don't you fucking dare. Black man, you stay in your blackness. Do not go to the white side. Not now.
this ain't got nothing to
Not
do.
this one.
Hold on. Let me
Not
get
this
it
one.
out. Let me
Don't
get
do
it out. This
Tim,
is.
Don't.
This
Don't
is,
do it.
this
Keep
is-
your black.
hold on, you
keep
don't
your
even know what I'm gonna say yet. You got me cracking up here.
Tim,
Okay,
I swear to God, you justify.
I'm not going to justify it.
You will not have a platform.
I'm not going to justify marrying kids.
Tim, don't do it.
Can I talk?
Don't do it.
Can I talk?
You know what? I'm coming. I want to go up there, and I want
Can I speak?
your ugly ass to your fucking skinny.
Okay, can I talk now? In defense of the Oklahoma Republicans, let's make it clear.
Wow.
Can I get the point out? Oklahoma is a deeply red state. So the point I'm trying to make is most of the politicians in Oklahoma are Republicans. So I get the 36 that sound like
What
pedophiles.
the fuck?
You're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. The overwhelming majority of politicians in Oklahoma are red. So the 36 you're talking about, they sound like they're sick in the head, but that's not representative of even Oklahoman Republicans.
That's not Tim. Comprehend? Yeah, they're sick. You know what, Tim? They're pedos.
I get it. I'm not arguing with you on that.
The Republican Party. They
That-
can't allow
I
it.
am
Do you
arguing.
know what they're saying? Do you know what the press conferences came out? And they're justifying it. Tim,
Let me-
they are justifying it.
Let me ask you, okay, this is what I'm trying to say. The 36 pedo-minded people, how many Republicans voted against it is what I'm saying. We know all the Democrats voted against it. How many Republicans voted against it? Because the majority...
Only a few. They said the majority of them voted for it. And only a few. Tim, this is a sick shit for real. I mean, I don't get... You know what, Tim? I promise you, I have money tonight to spend. See, I'm not like they said. They
No, I'm listening.
On welfare shit. They're on welfare shit. But I got monies. I have 500 on my card right now. I
Listen.
will come up to every one of these Republicans tonight, and I guarantee they will try and pretzel the asses, pretzel them to justify this shit. You know what? They're the party of pedos. They got one in office. They're trying to F our kids. I am so thankful I'm in a blue state. My babies are safe. But you know what I feel bad for? Is the kids in Oklahoma and shit, that they will become fucking kid brides. That is disgusting. And thank God the blues stood up. And thank God a few of them came up and saved the kids. It's not funny.
No,
How
listen.
is fucking a 60-year-old funny?
Who's laughing?
Yo, maggots.
I don't think MAGA's laughing at this. This is obvious.
Yes, they are.
I'm just trying to figure out how many Republicans...
And so your beloved maggots. They voted for this. They voted.
Okay, hold
This
on.
is not
Hold on. Hang on a
misinformation.
second. Hang on.
Look it up.
Okay, well, let me do that. Alexa, how many Oklahoma Republicans voted against banning child marriage?
36 Oklahoma Republicans voted against the child marriage ban. The bill
Thank
passed
you.
the House 51 to 36, with
Wow.
all opposing votes coming from Republicans.
Wow.
Thank Thank you.
That's bad. That is
Don't
bad.
ever come at me.
That's
I bring
bad.
facts, bitches.
That's
You guys
bad.
live on the cocks of white tea men. I bring facts.
So it sounds like there may be a few pedos living in Oklahoma, in the Sooner State. Maybe one or two
It's not even
pedophiles.
funny. It's not even funny. This is what the Republican Party is about. Pedos. They want to F your kids. Now other states are trying to join. When I told you a few months ago they're trying to grape our kids, this is what I was talking about. And thank God for the blue. Thank God for a couple of them that stood their ground. This is disgusting.
Well,
and then they say that black folks, no. They say that black men are the pedophiles. They say that black men are all this and all that. You know what? You don't see the black men doing none of that shit, right? No. You don't see black and brown people not doing that. No. You don't see no damn blue states wanting to F your 16-year-old and want to marry them. Guess who it is? YT.
Well, listen, I'm going to say what a lot of your fans often say. Your delivery may be sharp, but you're right about this one. Wow, it does look like there's a few
I've been
pedos.
right about everything, but you don't have the balls to come in. You want to
Oh, come
always
on
square
now.
up, and I want to start. I want to start fact checking. I want to tell you, start look Googling this shit, because everything I bring facts. I just don't have my computer right here because I'm not at work. I'm at home getting high as hell. Yes, I can do this on Friday. Yeah. Now that's what you're gonna do.
What I would like is for some reporters to interview some of those Republicans and ask them why did they vote against
They
it?
did.
What reason they give?
And how sick they was. They was defending it. Oh yeah, if the mothers and the fathers agree to it. Like what? Are you serious? Let me tell you something. I promise you, if I was, I wish I could run. You know, I wish I could run for president. I promise you on God. I promise you on God. Black and brown people will be on crowns, though.
In the comments,
will be shipped
Yeah.
to an island.
in
Oh, God.
the comments, the Fly Insurance guy, I kind of like that name, says, "Where's the handsome conservative?" I believe handsome conservative is currently tuned into the program. I believe he's hearing what's
where's
good.
he at?
He's on a different app. He's on
Is he
Clapper.
gonna press his ass this time? Is he gonna press his ass? That's the party. That's the party right there. That is all about SA and grape right there. I don't want to hear nothing what they got to say. And you know what they're trying to do right now? They're trying to sugarcoat it. They're trying to push it underneath. They're trying to tell people not to talk about it. And they're going to do it in other states. They're going to do it in other states.
Wow.
It is disgusting. And you maggots are just like that. You voted for this trash, and this is it. I'll never vote for red.
I want you. Well, you know, they say that it's the trans that are going to hurt the children, but you got white men voting for this.
What?
That's what they say. And-
What? I swear to God, those were the trans people up in there voting to grape our kids.
No.
You know what they was? You
White
know what it
men.
was?
White men.
YT Christian so-called straight men that like to be effed in the ass by me. Thank you for $1,500 for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Listen, and I seen the comments on Clapper. Handsome conservative says hello, so he is tuned in. And Polish guy says, "Oh wow, crazy liberal. It makes sense." I don't know. I gotta agree with her. This looks bad. I mean, I was trying to see if there was some light in it. It looks
I'm
bad.
trying to get that cock up in your mouth, though. Oh, let me try to justify. Let me. And I told you, shut your mouth. And go look this shit. Oh, people was in there. People was in there. Oh, I can't stand listening. I bet you can, bitch, because I'm not a pedo. I'm not a pedo. Okay? I'm not the pedo. I'm not the one that's going in trying to grape my kids. Hell nah.
Well,
It's your
it
white
does.
man. I proved my point.
It
Tim,
does. It
I
does
proved
shed
my
a little
point.
bit of light
The
on
white
it. Hold on,
Christian
can you?
male
Okay, hang on a second. Hang on, you're running
women
away.
And kids.
Okay, you're running away. It does shed a little bit of light on.
None of them did.
Okay, it does.
None of them. Hold on,
Okay,
Tim.
you
Hold
just.
on, one second. I'm sorry. No, they said how
Aren't
many
you-
Democrats voted no? Voted for it, Tim. And I said none. They all voted against it.
Yeah, it does shed a little bit of light on why it's been so hard to get the Republicans to come forward and pushing out the Epstein files. I mean, it seems like they're kind of okay with some of this stuff. This looks bad. It looks bad. There's no other way to. other way to put it when they say they're about protecting children from the trans community, and then they're okay with this shit. So it looks bad. I don't have a way to spin it. It does look bad.
Google it. Tell me how many trans people did it to our kids. There isn't any like that. Because look, white tea, Christian men, so-called straight, are raping our kids, and they went against. Thank God we got blue in that state. Thank God we got some of the white people that went against it. Only a few.
Wow.
Only a handful, man. A handful. And most of us went against it. Isn't that nasty?
I'm surprised R. Kelly didn't live in that state. You could buy a kid, but basically, if you get the parent to sign, but before they ban this law, you could just pay the mom enough money and, get the kid to marry you.
And it's going to all the red states. They even said it. They're going to try to pass it in all the red states. All this was in Project 25. Project 2025.
Why do you think they want to do this? Why do you think Republicans want to make it legal to marry kids?
Kim, are you fucking serious? Are you really serious?
I'm just asking. I'm asking.
Because you know why? The pedos. They want to grape all the kids. They want to F them up in the air. They want to F the kids up so bad and make them like, I'm just sick. I can't even answer that because I'm not even a pedophile. I'm not a pedo. I can tell you what they do to victims, how it fucks our heads up, but I'm not a pedo. I cannot look at a 16-year-old boy and say, ooh, oh, God, I want you. Oh, hell no. That will gross me the F out. I can't even look at a 25-year-old grown man at that because I'm 45. That turns me sickening because I have a 25-year-old. So I don't, honest to God, know what goes into these white people's heads, how they look at kids and say, oh, my God, they got nice titties or something, and they're babies, for God's sake.
And in the comments, Polish guy, you says that's not accurate. Yeah, actually it is. Let me know what you think is not accurate. I tried to go at take the same angle as you did. It's accurate. It's fucking accurate. So let me know what you think is not accurate because it's pretty accurate.
That your Republican Party is all for healthy kids when you want to F them and marry them off to nasty white tea people. Now that is sickening. And when I say that you guys are savages,
thank you,
Danny guys are savages. Now, don't you ever question me and tell me why I respect them. That is disgusting.
Yeah, it obviously reduces the credibility that the Republican Party is about protecting children. I mean,
so now you guys, I watch, and they're going. I don't care if I'm classy or not. I could be straight hood. I'll whoop your ass. I don't give a second. How? If I'm so ghetto and stuff? But let me tell you something. I'm up here talking and trying to save your kids. Unlike your white trailer trash asses. They over here want to grape them and marry them off to the next SA'er. You guys are sick. Yeah, I'm a classy broad, but honey, I never, ever have a pedophile on my damn
How about
channel.
this now? In the comments, Prince says there's 18 Democrats and 81 Republicans in Oklahoma. So what he's indicating, there had to be a bunch of Republicans voting against this too.
No. They said the majority voted against it. That was nasty. And the only thing that saved, the only thing that did it was all the Democrats, and there was a couple of them. I'm telling you. And then the sickness part about it was, though, the sickness is they justified it by coming on TV and saying why they did it. Saying that, the parents should have every right to say yes or no. Yeah.
And I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I got to move it on. But I'll just say this: it doesn't matter what number. It doesn't matter what number of Republicans or Democrats there are. The fact that 36 Republicans voted against it, it don't matter if it was 3,000 of them. 36 of them shouldn't have voted against it. Just having 36 voting against it is horrible. Last word to you. I got to move on.
Tim, let me tell you this. Every time a maggot comes on, I don't give a damn if it's your homie. Ask them. No, for real. Ask them. Do that for me. Ask them. What do you feel? What would you say about that? And you at your party. Ask them. 51.
My guess is most
I
MAGA
told you.
don't know. Most MAGA probably, I didn't even know. My guess is if you watch right wing media, Fox is not covering this shit. They don't know it. They're going to say it's not true.
Keep it down because look at the pedos.
Yeah.
And if you bring any of them, the prince one, I got money. See, I'm not.
I gotta go.
All right? Promise me you'll ask him. Ask him. This is serious though.
We're gonna have a conversation. Gangster, we'll have a conversation. Thank you for coming through. And look, we can discuss her delivery, but she's right about this one. Wow, that's bad. That's really bad. I mean, I didn't know nothing about this story. I haven't been listening to a lot of news today, and as I just stated, only some media outlets are going to cover this. No media outlet that leans right is going to tell you that 36 Oklahoma representatives voted to allow full-grown adults to marry kids. It's just not going to be covered on the right at all. So if you believe CNN and MS Now and all these networks are fake, then whatever you're watching, they ain't going to tell you this. They are not going to tell you that. So my guess is, now what she was saying is, well, when you bring MAGA up, ask them what, they're going to say the story isn't true. If I start asking MAGA callers how they feel about this shit, I will have to play them clips with each individual caller because each individual caller has not heard about this. I mean, I generally know many of the outlets, platforms, podcasters that MAGA get their information from. None of them are going to cover this. None of them are. So each person that comes up, it's going to be the first time they heard it. They're going to say it's not true. And even when you show them evidence that it happened, they still may question it. So, I get the idea that it's worth asking, but shit, the amount of resistance coming from MAGA in regards to trying to say it's not true is going to be insane. They're all going to deny it happened. They're going to deny that it even took place. It's kind of like when Trump said the other day that he's not worried about the finances of Americans. And then when they asked JD, how do you feel about Trump saying that? What was his first statement? I don't believe he said it. I haven't heard it. So the amount of resistance to this stuff is so significant that before you can even get somebody to answer something, you got to show them a mountain of proof that it actually happened, because when it comes to Trump, the first response is to deny the negative information is valid. So I don't know how to present that over and over and over again to an audience of people that just want to resist hearing it. I just don't know how to do that. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000 if you will. Didn't Florida vote to prevent upping the age of consent? I'm not aware, Shanti, but it wouldn't surprise me. Polish guy says, I don't believe he's innocent. You don't believe who is innocent? Of what? Polish guy. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 25,000 before we go to the box. 36 wanker Republicans. Yeah, it's crazy that they were trying to defend that shit. Because listen, I used R. Kelly, but you really could use any wealthy person. Jeffrey Epstein would have been a perfect example. If you go into a state that allows legalized marriage with children, and you have a lot of money, and all you need is the parent's signature, you'll find no shortage of moms and dads that'll sell their kid around, particularly somebody who's poor. You know, you got an attractive 6-year-old, if it's even right to say that. But yeah, you'll find people that'll, he's a good man. He's obviously established. He's a businessman. He's going to take care of you. And the little kid is just going to go with what their parents say. He said he'll bring us around. He's going to get your mama a house. You're doing good for the family. And all of a sudden, you land up with this grown-ass man with a hairy chest, and he's talking about sex. It's awful. But that's what was going to happen. That's what's going to happen if you allow child marriages. Wealthy people, because this is what was, before I go to the next caller and get their likes up to 25,000, this is exactly what was happening before George W. Bush passed a law against it to kids in Cambodia and in those Southern Asian countries. Folks from America would, in other countries, mostly white men, I'm going to call it as I see it, sounding like my last caller, but mostly white men who had a little bit of wealth would go to those countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Burma, all this type of shit, and they would offer the mom, maybe the dad included, money that they were not familiar with seeing. They'd make very little money over there. And they would give them some money, and they would take their kid, not out of the country, but maybe to some hotel or whatever, and have their way with the child. Fortunately, George W. Bush came along and he passed a law that says if an American goes to another country, you still can be held accountable for pedophilia. But that's what they were doing. Americans were doing it that way. Well, Oklahoma's leaving themselves up for it to happen there if they didn't have this law. Anyway, tap the screen, get the likes up to 30,000. These people are sick, man, says Michael. It just, look, like I said, it just goes to show with them voting against this in Oklahoma, why you're having such a difficult time getting to the bottom of the Epstein files. There are people who want what was going on. There are people who want that to continue. It's pretty obvious. Yes, Oklahoma has officially changed its laws to end child marriage effective November 1st. What if you get married before November 1st? Is it grandfathered in? Grandfather, no pun intended. Let me go to the box. We're at 25,000. We'll go to the one and only MAGA Reacts. I got to hear from some MAGA on this. Did you hear this whole thing?
Yeah, the level of misinformation is crazy.
Correct.
Okay, first of all they did was change the age from 16 to 18. Before that, kids 16 years old could marry other kids 16 years old.
So what if you're 14? Could you get married at 14 at all under any way?
No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. And trust me, most pedophiles don't want no 16-year-old. They want fucking kids. Anyway,
that's not true. That's not true.
A year ago, the consent age in Oklahoma was 16. So they raised the consent age last year, and then they raised the marriage age this year. So the loophole was mostly to get kids marrying kids. And then I just looked it up. It turns out most of this country, the consent age is 16. Like, I just counted, there's only 12 states where the consent age is 18. There's like maybe 10 more with 17. But most of the country, the consent age is 16, including Seattle, New Hampshire, Vermont, a bunch of blue states. They have the consent age of 16. So it's just a bunch of misinformation.
So in other words, it never was about a grown man being able to marry a 10-year-old. That never was possible in Oklahoma.
Mostly kids marrying kids. Some kids in high school get pregnant, they get married, and that's it. It's still illegal for a grown man to sleep with someone under, well, it was 16, but now it's 18 in that state. It's still legal for a lot of grown men to sleep with someone older than 16 in most states, according to this map I just looked up.
Well, if what you're saying is true, that actually softens the blow significantly compared to what she was saying. It kind of makes me want to look it up. But what you're saying is, even when child marriage was legal in Oklahoma, you couldn't marry below 16.
Yeah, 100%. I just read it. It took me 2 seconds to Google this.
Okay.
I mean, come on. I know you're using Alexa, and that's kind of lazy, and sometimes it works.
I got multiple cameras, motherfuckers coming at me for. I don't have. Yeah, you're right. I got to take the lazy route. I got a lot more going on.
I blame grandma for the misinformation. All right. And I think most of these states should raise their fucking consent age to 18. It's crazy that there's so many states that have it at 16. But it's not because they're blue or red. It just, I don't know. It's a lot of blue states with 16 and a lot of red state with 18 and vice versa.
Well, how about this? In the comments, one of the viewers, Buckeye, says he got married, I believe he said at 16, and he's been married for 30 some odd years, but he says what you're saying is wrong. He says you can go in front of a judge to get married earlier, but it'll cost $5,000 roughly. Did you find that in your research?
I don't know what state that is. I don't know if it's Oklahoma or what state. I gotta look it up. You gotta look it up state by state, Tim.
Well, I'll tell you it is.
I'm in Florida where everything's 18.
Yeah, but you just said it's mainly kids marrying kids. If somebody's able to present a judge with $5,000, that ain't a kid. That's a grown ass person presenting that $5,000. So that ain't a kid. Who just sent that?
I don't know what the state is. I don't know what the details of what's going on.
But I thought you
Either way,
you were saving the Republicans
That's
for a
not
minute.
true. No, and it's not
What's up?
less of a blow. That's not even true. So miss me
What's
with the
not true?
pencil ass.
What's
Get
not
the
true?
cock out your mouth.
What's not
No,
true?
It's not true. It's not kids marrying kids. It was grown men. They even said it, grown men. And the reason why the AKA thing is taking the so-called parental rights away. That's why they
Were
say
they marrying
they go to the
anyone under
kids.
16?
Shut your
Were
mouth
they marrying
up.
anyone
You
under
are a
16?
pedo.
What about what he's asking? Under 16, is he correct?
Yeah, you can still get married to under 16 in those laws. That's why they're trying to get it up to 18. So no, you're not gonna come up here and say kids would marry kids. No, with your sick pedo ass.
But wait, hold on. So
Show me an example then. Show me an example of someone marrying a 14-year-old, even in the articles. Because I looked through most of the articles while you were speaking.
Central was at 16. A grown man could. What are you talking
but
about?
wait, hang on, hold on a second. Sexy Red, so you're saying grown men could marry a 14-year-old? Was that possible?
No, I'm talking about the 16-year-olds.
Okay.
And hey, if you got money, they could do whatever. You know what I mean?
That's
Go
legal
find a
in
judge
most
like that
states.
for
Most
5
states
grand.
have a
You could do
16-year-old
it at
age of
14,
consent.
yeah, they could. That's how sick white tea people are. That's how sick white tea people are.
That's
And
not,
it's
that's the
disgusting.
legal age in most of the world. You know that,
It's
right?
disgusting.
In the
That's
UK,
why they're
it's
trying to get it
16.
up. And you all
Most
here
of the
trying
United
to
States is
justify
16.
it. I would not put my daughter around you. You a sick pedo. Over here trying to justify it.
I'm just showing you what's going on with the world, what's going on with the country. Here, I'll show you the fucking map.
Men. It was grown men. Cut the crap out, man. It's nasty.
How about this though? Hold on.
Do you even have kids?
I want to read this comment. I want you to hear this comment, particularly you, Sexy Red. Ernest in the comments says, well, shit, at 16, I had a full-time job, my own apartment, car, everything. 16-year-olds at that time were raised differently, but a 16-year-old nowadays could not afford it themselves. What about that?
And that's a pedo.
Look at this map.
And watch
This
that.
is the age of
I
consent.
got you go walk.
Look at all these blue states where it's 16. Look at the map. Look at all the 16s. Bunch of blue
And
states.
look at they're trying to justify it, Tim.
Look at that map, though.
Look, it's 16 in most of the country.
No, it's
I
not.
don't know this because I live in Florida. It's 18 and it's always been 18
In
all
the
my
red
life.
states. Look at the red states.
These are all blue states, honey. These are all
Not all
fucking
of
blue
them.
states right here.
I think he has.
Now, local red states has a 17. Some is actually these are still fucking blue states.
Yeah, I
It's
think.
fucking Illinois, 17, right?
Yeah, I
I don't
think.
know. I'm bad at
17.
geography, but
That's sick.
I think.
And
He,
you're trying to justify that? I have no respect.
I'm not justifying shit. I'm just telling you the
Don't
truth.
say, oh, it's for
Fucking
kids.
they
It's for
under
kids
fucking
marrying
30.
kids. No, it's for pedos, like grown men over age,
I'm
like
fucking
18,
30.
trying to
I
have.
can't even look at anyone under 30.
I'm going to
not-
say
I'm
this.
just telling you what's going on.
I'm going to say this, Sexy Red. He's kind of hurting you with all this evidence, though. I mean, it is blue states. I mean, I'm looking at Illinois on there. I'm looking at his
It's
map.
not the point about that, Tim. It's the point that 36 fucking white teen men voted against it. They want the shit.
It's mostly
That's
kids
the
marrying
point.
kids. If someone's trying to
That
fucking
is the
marry
point.
someone under
Not
fucking
another state.
17, they
I'm
got other
trying to
problems.
prove it, Tim. That's the point. They want to overflip it so men can do it. See the bigger picture. You
That's
know
why I still haven't seen any proof that they can marry anyone under 16 in Oklahoma. I don't know about other states.
Yeah, I think he came prepared on this one, Sexy Red.
I ain't talking prepared shit.
Google this.
I think he came prepared.
I thought New York was
You guys
16,
should
but
justify
it turned out
marrying a
17.
16-year-old. You guys are pedos.
It ain't.
Oh God!
It-
And you know what,
It's
Tim? If
mostly
you
for
can
people that
justify
are
marrying
18,
a 16-year-old,
19 in their
just
fucking
like
age
that.
range. I mean,
Here-
most
like that.
fucking
Yeah,
states
you
have an
gotta
exception.
stick.
Up to 24, you can still date someone that's like 16.
No, you can't.
Florida
What are you
definitely has an
talking
exception. Up to 24, you can date 16 because you're
No,
basically.
you cannot. I wish a man would come up in my house and if I had a 6-year-old kid and try to date my kid. You're trying to justify it.
Like in high
You're a
school, most
sick
girls
bitch.
my age were fucking dating older
I
guys.
promise you.
I'm just
I
gonna
wish
say-
a man would come up in my house.
It's like
and date
if
my
you're 17
6-year-old.
or
I'll be
16
underneath the
and your
damn chair.
boyfriend turns 18, what are you
You
going to
hear
go to
this
jail
shit?
for it?
They're trying to justify it. That is nasty.
I'm
They're
just.
all 24,
A 24-year-old's not a
you're
kid.
dating a kid.
That's not a kid.
Under 24 is still a kid until you're like
Wow. That is white
25. Especially
shit
if they're
right there.
dating. I mean,
But no.
in
Yeah,
most of the
no.
country,
That is white shit right there, man. That's
that's not
white
white
shit.
shit. That's normal.
That's not normal.
That's normal. I know you're
That
old
is
as fuck,
not
but
normal. A 24-year-old? Oh, yeah. Isn't that one of the guys just murdered a 14-year-old kid? And what? And she was knocked up? You think that's normal? And 24-year-old,
She's 14. That's
I'm going to say
That's not normal.
I was outraged that. Hold on. I was outraged after talking to Sexy Red, but now that I've heard from MAGA Reacts, he's softened this a lot. I mean, what he came with shows this.
Wow,
You
Tim.
made it sound a lot worse than what it actually is. Yeah,
About 16?
you made it sound like it was really.
So you're a
Look at the map. Look at all these
So
blue
let your
states.
16-year-old go get fucked by a 12-man.
You made it sound like it was way under 16.
18-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
Yeah, you made it sound like it was 10-year-olds
They
and
all
shit.
went to high school
Tim!
together. They all
It
went to middle
was
school
16
together.
and under, Tim! What are you talking about? 16 is still a kid!
You said an
I'm
under.
still a kid, and so is 20.
That's a 16!
You said
17!
you said 16 and under. Where's the under at?
Oh my fucking God. I swear to God, Tim.
What's wrong with me asking the question?
God, all
I
these
swear to
points.
God, I'm fixing to drop all my support from you.
What? I'm asking questions.
16?
I get that, but you said an
You don't
under.
get it because you're trying to justify it.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you.
You're
You
making it
got
about
MAGA
Republicans.
reacts
This has nothing to do with the
24
Republicans. Look
and
at
a
the fucking map.
16-year-old? Yeah, bitch, come to my house. And I'll put a bullet in your
Hey, I gotta drop you for that. I mean, you're gonna get the program. I gotta drop her for that. Let me just say this.
I'm gonna
Look.
stop the camera.
Okay, listen. At the end of the day, I'm not a fan of anybody marrying a 16-year-old either. However, she did.
16 old though. Actually, I'm not a fan of people getting married that young altogether, but I
She
can
said
understand
16.
and
She said 16 and under. And the way you presented evidence that the under part is not accurate. It's not accurate.
I don't think it is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like in Utah or something, there's some shit, but I don't think it. I mean,
And I will also say this, because in the comments, Arnita said the subject was about Oklahoma. You see his map, Oklahoma is actually doing better than a lot of the states. If Oklahoma has now banned marrying people under 16, under 18, there's blue states that is actually you can get married at 16 still, looking at his map.
Yeah.
So
Well, no,
it
that's
ain't
the
a
age of
Republican thing at
consent,
all.
Tim. That's the age of consent. That's the age they
Yeah.
can have sex.
Yeah.
So most of those states, you could fuck a 16-year-old. Doesn't matter how old you are. So that's the age of consent in most of the country.
Yeah, and I'll
That's not the
agree.
age of marriage.
And I'll agree with, well, to me, if you're 40 years old, 16 should not be the age of consent. It just shouldn't be.
But that, apparently, in most of the country, that's the age. That's
I don't
fucking
think
crazy.
that is that
People
true.
crazy.
I don't think that's true. 16.
That map is the age of consent, Tim. That's not the age of marriage. That's the age of consent. That means if you're like fucking 40 in most of the country, you could fuck a 16-year-old.
Ugh.
That's fucking crazy. I mean, I've always lived in Florida where it's 18. I think 18 is a good age. But
16.
they need to fucking fix that. I mean, Oklahoma just raised it. And apparently there was like a 1-year loophole. We could still marry someone that's like under 18, but still has to be over 16.
Wow. I
All
want
I'm
to.
saying, this isn't a Republican thing. There's a lot of blue states.
And that's what I was going to say. It ain't just. She made it sound like it was a Republican white man thing, but my guess is it's probably people from all backgrounds that are involved in this. But the Republicans are the ones that are fighting to keep it law. So that may be the only difference. In the comments, though, Handsome Conservative makes a good point by saying it has nothing to do with white people. It has to do with rich trying to make their own laws. I kind of agree with that. And Amy,
It's not that either.
Amy SBK is telling me I need to go back and pick up cotton. So I'm assuming she's probably a little bit racist, but somebody's recommending I go pick cotton. I get it a lot. But go ahead. What were you saying?
No, most of the world, the age of consent is 16. People
Yeah.
get married young in the rest of the world. We're the only one that are waiting forever to get married. But marriage pedophilia is a whole different story, though. Pedophiles are trying to fuck actual kids. So this is like
you don't think a 40-year-old, you don't think a 40-year-old with a 16-year-old should qualify as that?
Oh, I think it should.
Yeah.
I'm not a big age gap guy. I've always dated girls my own age. Even now, I can't even talk to someone under 30. I can't do it. There's nothing to say to them.
Yeah, y'all ain't got nothing. If you 40 years old and you dating somebody that's 16, y'all ain't got nothing in common. None at all.
Even 25, Tim. Even 25, I can't fucking do it. 20, I tried to go out with a 25-year-old. I can't say shit to them. They grew up in a different world than me. And they speak a different language.
Yeah.
I date like 35 and older, 30 and older.
Well, Carolyn, Trump's spokesperson, Carolyn Leavitt, the one that just had a baby, her man is, I think she's 28 or something like that. Her guy's in his late 50s. She got a husband that's like that.
Listen, I think past 25, the age of consent is, the age that you should, past 25, it depends on the person.
Yeah,
that's a different story.
But y'all still ain't got nothing in common. You 25 dating a dude that's almost 60.
I'm like 40 dating a 35-year-old, and she says I'm too young for her. Like, she dates 50 guys 15 years older than her. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, let's get back into the actual show. Now that it stings, but it don't sting as bad as she had me originally thinking.
This has nothing to do with their fucking, what's it called? Whether they're Republican or whatever. And it's, once you look at it, there's a lot of weird shit that's law, including this.
Yeah, well, let's get back into the show. Did you hear about President Trump now talking about indicting Castro and taking Cuba?
I guess he's trying to pull up Venezuela and Cuba. I don't know. I don't think we need to do any of that shit. I was actually happy when Obama just opened up Cuba. I know my sister went over there vacationing, and she loved it. I'm really against what Trump's policy toward Cuba, but he's got all those Cubans voting for him, and fucking what's his name is his Secretary of State. So this is more Marco Rubio than anything.
The Cubans voted for Trump because America was favorable to Cuba, and the Cubans didn't think he was going to treat them like shit. They thought he was going after Mexicans and Guatemalans and shit. If the Cubans had known what was coming down the pipe for them, they wouldn't have voted for Trump. They wouldn't.
You're misunderstanding it, Tim. The Cubans in Miami want this. They want their country back.
So they wanted. So once Trump, so they want Trump to own their country and turn it into a right-wing country and probably send them back home.
They want Trump to take the country back from the communists, and they want their country back. All those Cubans that voted for Trump, they want this. Mark, what's his name? The fucking Secretary of State, Mark, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't think of his name right now.
Who are you talking about? Marco Rubio?
Marco Rubio, yeah. He wants this. All the Cubans in Miami, all the Cubans in America want this. They want America to fucking arrest fucking Castro, get him the fuck out of there, and give them their country back.
But that's not going to happen, MAGA. We're not going back to 1950 Savannah, where they were a Democratic elected country. When Trump gets rid of the Castros, he's putting in somebody that's pro-Trump. You're not getting democracy. You're getting a Western leader now. You're just going to get somebody we want.
Listen, all those Cubans in Miami are pro-Trump, and they want this, and it's going to be someone that they like. It's going to be somebody they have no. It's going to be somebody they have no control over. He was fucking promoting this shit. He was telling, talking about how great fucking Trump is. The last mayor in Miami that just left.
Yeah, but you got what the point I'm trying to make to you is the favoritism and love of Trump and his policies is different for the campaigning Trump than it is the guy that's in office now. Because the guy who was campaigning promised to do a lot of stuff that the guy who's in office now is doing just the opposite of. So yeah, there was a bunch of Cubans who liked Trump when he was campaigning because he was promising to do different shit than what he's doing now. I don't think the Cuban support for Trump is the same as it was while he was campaigning.
All I'm saying is that they want their country back, and they want Trump to get it back for them. Why else do you think he's doing this? You think he really gives a fuck about Cuba?
Yes.
It's Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio wants his fucking country back. His family's been kicked out of that country for 40, 50 years, and they want the country back.
I don't know if you were. I don't know if you were here early, but I want you to hear this. This is Trump, because you're talking about they want their country back. I want you to hear Trump describing Cuba. If I can get my audio, because I think it goes kind of against where your mindset is on this.
In its own way, if tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change. They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba's the end. All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation.
Free it, take it, I could do whatever. So he's not even for sure he's going to free the people. I can free it, I can take it, I can keep it. How could you be supportive of him taking it from Castro when he's not even telling you clearly what he's going to do with it?
Listen, Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State.
Marco Rubio ain't in charge.
Yes, he is.
No, he's
I
not.
think he's the whole reason for even going after Cuba.
You trying to tell me that Trump?
With a Secretary of State, Trump will waste his time with Cuba right now.
Okay, so
He's doing it because Marco Rubio is. You telling me this guy he's been not able to go to his home country for fucking 70 years?
You really think this guy?
They all want to go home.
The guy is literally talking about how great of land it is, the beaches and shit like that. He don't sound like a guy who's going to just give them their country back. He sounds like a guy who has a vested interest in their property.
It's for the Cubans, Tim. It's just like Venezuela when he got rid of what's his name. All the Venezuelans here were partying and loving him for it. It's gonna be the same shit.
This guy has shown you he's a real estate mogul. He's all about making money. This is incredibly valuable.
He spent the whole show telling me how he made so much money that why would he even care about going back into real estate when he's making so much money in crypto?
Because he can't make too much money. He want money coming from everywhere.
Then he's got like 10 more years to live if he's lucky,
and he's still selling shit. He's still selling shit hand over fist.
Yeah, that's who he is, and that's how he talks about every country. That's how he talks about Gaza. That's how he talks about Iran. That's how he talks about every fucking country. That's just how he talks. Doesn't mean that he's gonna fucking retire there and develop Cuba. He's just taking the country back for the Cubans, and he's doing it because Marco Rubio is his Secretary of State.
Yeah.
And the Cubans love him, and they voted for him. And he lives down here.
Yeah.
He lives in South Florida.
Well, like I said,
Cubans in his ears telling him, "Oh, can you take this country back for us?"
Well, like I said, in regards to the Cubans loving him and voting for him, there's a big difference between people who voted for Trump while he was campaigning and how they feel about him now.
If you're from, say you're from Cuba and you got kicked out, and you have the ear of the president, of the most powerful person in the world, would you not be whispering in his ears, "Please fucking take my country back so I could go home"?
Not if I don't know what there is a such thing as going from one dictator to the next. I mean, you can replace a bad guy with another bad guy. I mean, if he's not telling you for certain what he's going to do with your country, why would you be so eager for him to take it over? I mean, it's a lot of Americans it's a lot of Americans that are not happy with the rule of Trump. So it ain't like he has this image of being an awesome leader and everybody want to be under him. So this is the guy you guys want?
Tim, except these guys have lived under a real dictator, and no matter how much you guys fucking pretend Trump is a dictator, Trump is not.
It's got nothing to do with being a dictator.
It's definitely not a dictator.
It ain't got nothing to do with being a dictator. It's got something to do with a guy who put your country in the dark. He's not sending any food. This is a guy that helped Israel with Gaza and starved them. The guy who talked about ending the civilization in Iran. This is the guy you want to replace Castro with. This guy has a bad history himself. I mean, this is the guy that was blowing up Venezuelan boats.
As soon as we get Cuba is going to be like Miami 2.0.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Puerto Rico 2.0. You know, it's you saying the Puerto Ricans aren't happy. They're pretty happy with their country.
Yeah. This is a guy that's the same guy that's going to end the war in 24 hours and deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. That guy.
What do you think he's going to do? That we're going to have internment camps in fucking Cuba after we take it over? Like, what the fuck do you think is going to happen?
That's the problem, is we don't know. I'm not going to paint this rosy picture like you're doing. It's going to be the Miami of the South. I don't believe that. It could be used as a holding station for illegal immigrants. It could be used as a prison. There's a whole lot of negatives it could be used for too. We don't know because he ain't saying.
It's going to be Puerto Rico 2.0. Miami may be a little too.
Puerto Rico 2.0, the same place that had a hurricane under his first term, and he didn't do shit but throw toilet paper. That's what it's going to be?
I don't know. I think Puerto Rico's doing pretty well, especially compared to its neighbors. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I got to move it on. I think that's crazy, though, you automatically giving it that sunshine picture based on Trump. I got to move it on, MAGA. Thanks for coming through.
Your picture, it's not believable. Your picture is not believable at all. It's somewhere in the middle. How about that? It's somewhere in the middle, and I'm thinking the Cubans want this. They want their country back. They want to go home.
I'd be curious to see them get interviewed and see what they say. Thanks for coming through. Moving on with the program. Aliwan says, what makes us any different from the Iranians then? And they're supposed to be against their ideology. 16 is still a kid. The hypocrisy is wild. Yeah, I kind of agree. A lot of those laws are probably based on back when we were an agriculture society, because, back in the 1800s, a 16-year-old was very mature back then. You didn't go to college and live off your parents the way, you got 23, 24-year-olds still living at home with their moms and dad. Back in them days, you grew up fast. You grew up real fast. So, some of it comes back from that, but I'm with my last two callers. It needs to change. It does need to change. Me Too says, which demographic commits the most assault on children in our country? Take accountability. Which demographic commits the most assault on children in our country? Wow. There's just far more white people in the country than any other, so it's probably going to be white people. But they're going to point to inner city crime. A lot of that happens to children. But it's just far more white people in the country. So whites should outnumber every other group in doing everything, because, I think it's probably, 3-4 times as many whites than blacks, twice as many whites as Hispanics almost. They should dominate in every area. Sexual assault, yes, not assault in general, says Alter Ego. So you're saying whites commit more sexual assault, but not assault in general. Okay. I don't know. I had to look up the statistics. I do not know. But, it could go a million different ways. I'll just say this. I would have to see the numbers, because there's just so many more Caucasians in the country than there are of any other groups. I don't know, man. Whites seem to be a minority in California. They're not. You're just in the wrong part of California. They're not. There's plenty of red all over California once you get away from the coastal areas in the big cities. A lot of that stuff is MAGA country out in California. There's plenty of plenty of white people living in California. I just want a moderate social president and a fiscally conservative president. I think that's what some folks back in 2015 thought they were getting, but yeah, you're getting just the opposite with him now. Yeah, middle-aged back then, 25 to 35 people didn't live past 50. Yeah, 16 was an adult back in the agriculture, years, the frontier years and all of that stuff. People, you're right. The lifespan of a human was 40s, 50s at most. Trump wants Russian and Chinese influence out of Cuba. He'll get that by taking over Cuba and making it, I don't know, would it be a territory, or I don't know what level he'll take it to, make it like what my last caller said, make it like it's Puerto Rico. I don't know to what level he wants to take that to, but I have a hard time believing what he's going to be doing is in the best interest of the Cuban people. I don't know. There will be some benefits from them, maybe, but we know Trump has a govern with an iron fist mindset. A lot of things in this country we've been able to stop because we still have a court system. If he owns Cuba, they don't have that. So who knows where it may go. Why is Trump to want anything out of another country? Personal wealth, maybe. Personal. I believe it's about money. Trump is a money man. That's the way I see it. He is a money man. So I believe some of it has to do with money. Stick, the ruler. If Democrats lose the upcoming election, it will be the end of America. I don't know about the end of America, Chemical, but it won't be good for a democracy, in my opinion. Stick, good evening.
Hey, what's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Good to have you on.
Oh, just 1 second. Hold on. Let me mute this. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Good to have you back on. So Trump is talking about taking over Cuba. What say you? You got it.
I'm sorry, man. This shit is for. Okay, there it goes. Now.
Okay. Trump wants. Okay, I got it. Fix that and come back. Okay. I don't know what you got going on, but fix that and come back. Let me move on. You got some kind of electrical issue going on. We'll go to James Harper. James, good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Tom?
Not much. You got a clear channel now. No, what I was Stick had some radio that wouldn't give up. Trump in Cuba. What say you?
Why? Why are we doing this?
Power, money, power, respect. To quote the Locks, money, power, respect.
No, Trump think is back in the 70s and 80s when we had the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that.
70s and 80s, more
Notice
like
how he's going.
1700s and 1800s.
You notice how he's going after
me.
all these old enemies? Like he's like, oh, these people didn't do the right thing and solve these issues. Now it's my turn. I need to go ahead and do this. Like there was nothing that they were doing that was affecting us.
No, I don't know. Well, he's claiming they're there to indict Castro for something he was involved in back in the mid-90s.
Like I said, Tim, it was what, 30 years ago? Why are we doing it now?
Trump, Trump's response is going to be, finally, we got a president that takes care of business. All the rest of them did not hold these people accountable. Here I am. I'm going to do it. That's what he said about Iran. Okay. All these other folks didn't do it. I'm going to do it.
If that's the case, why is he going at the people who, like, let's be honest, Castro has more days behind him than ahead of him.
He's in his mid-90s. He's like 94, I think they said.
It was the same thing with the Ayatollah.
Yeah, he was like 80-something. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm going to agree with you. I don't think it has anything to do with bringing this man to justice. It's about taking their country. Because I said earlier in the broadcast, if this guy, because the CIA is in Cuba now pretty much making demands, turn yourself in and we come back with guns. I mean, they're kind of telling them that now. And my guess is that if Castro, the guy they want to bring to justice, if he said, well, my country is going to hold an election, I'll turn myself in Friday. I'm going to go ahead and let them select another leader. We would not hold that leader as legit because it ain't got nothing to do with just taking this guy into custody. We want to fundamentally change that country. We're just taking Castro into custody as an excuse to go there. But we would not let them select their own leader right now.
He tried to do the same thing with Iran, and we saw how that happened.
He did this. He actually did it in Venezuela. He did it in Venezuela.
We're not even out of that situation. He's trying to jump into another one.
Yeah. Well, he thinks it'll be a pushover. I mean, they're in the dark. They're starving. It should be pretty easy.
And how are we gonna hold them? Are we gonna put boots on the ground over there?
Yeah, like we did in Venezuela. A small special forces team should be able to easily do it. They don't have a military anything of any significance. I mean, we already got a base on the island with Guantanamo.
Nah, it's not going to work.
What do you mean it's not going to work?
He's trying to play tough, and it's not working.
Cuba?
If anything...
You think Cuba's going to stop him? This ain't Iran. You think Cuba can stop him?
I'm not saying Cuba's going to stop him. What I'm saying is what's going to happen is just like they let that oil tanker from Russia get over there,
Mhm.
Putin's going to come in and say, "Hey, leave them alone." And what's Trump going to say? No.
Say that again.
I'm saying that the guy that Trump has been kissing up to is going to tell him to leave Cuba alone, and he's going to be like, okay, he's not going to go against him.
Who is the guy Trump's been kissing up to? Xi Jinping?
Putin.
Oh, Putin.
Putin.
I don't know. I think Putin would have done that because Trump has been threatening to take Cuba for a while. I think that if Putin didn't want us to take Cuba, he would have spoke up sooner than this with Trump. I don't know.
He doesn't think he'll do it. That's the thing. Remember, this is a guy that's always been chicken out of shit. I don't even think he would have.
So you think this is all a big to do with nothing? Something that's not going to amount to anything.
In the words of MAGA, it's a big nothing burger.
So you don't think Trump is going to take Castro out and go into Cuba?
No, like he already sees how unpopular the whole Iran thing is.
I think you're wrong on this one. I think you're wrong on this one because you're right. Iran is incredibly unpopular, and he's still talking about doing this. And in the comments, Caitlin or Kate, I see your comment. I'll certainly we'll talk. But yeah, I don't think he's joking about this. I believe this is an easy one. This isn't Iran. This is probably even easier than Venezuela, in my opinion. I think he's going in there.
Yeah, he's got too much on it. He's got too many problems here. Like we're barely going as is. Like how much we've already suffered off of just his actions now for him to be like, oh yeah, let's do this. And and then another thing, what happened to America first? What dealing with Cuba is going to be beneficiary with us?
Probably not at all. I mean, I suppose if he takes Cuba and makes it one of his real estate ventures, you could probably go there for vacation. If you got money, it'll probably be a pretty expensive place to go to. I mean, so it'll benefit some Americans, but my guess is as an average American, it ain't gonna benefit you at all. Just like taking over Venezuela. That didn't benefit anybody in the country at the average level. Nobody's benefited from that. At least that I can tell.
You'll be hard up to define like people in like the top 1% that'll be sitting there like, oh yeah, we need to go ahead and put interest in Cuba.
Well, it may open up investment opportunities and all kinds of shit for them. Maybe they put a bunch of expensive resorts all up and down the coast of Cuba. I mean, they could make it into all of a sudden Royal Caribbean and Carnival and Norwegian are taking. I mean, you could make it a big investment for the 1%. There's plenty of money to be made.
But isn't Cuba already a tourist destination for like beaches and all that?
It ain't for Americans, and that's where most of the money is in this hemisphere.
Okay, but see, that's the thing. It's him trying to do for him. It's not him doing.
I'm not disagreeing with that. It's him and the 1% that would benefit. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. That's what would happen. It would be him and the 1% benefiting by taking over Cuba. Yeah, I'm no argument with that's the same with Venezuela and probably some of this other shit that we don't know about. My guess is like when he took over Venezuela, they actually took hold of an oil tanker or whatever. Just one of those is generational wealth. We don't know where that tanker went. He could have took that tanker and sold it to somebody and they could have just pocketed the money. We don't know. A lot of the stuff they're telling us, they're not showing us any evidence or proof of it. So you just have to kind of take his word. So my guess is in all of these things, he's making money. Like when he said about Gaza, I'll take it and own it and make it the Riviera of the Middle East. He's not doing that because he's a nice guy. He's doing it because there's money in it.
But the Biden crime family.
I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. But he's making money hand over fist. That's what's happening.
Yeah. And then you had MAGA Reacts who I don't know why you keep letting that man come up there, Tim. You know what's going to happen.
Well, he did a he did a really good job with what Gangsta Grandma was talking about, the pedophilia stuff, though. He really reduced that down quite a bit. I mean, so MAGA Reacts actually scored one today.
And he lost it the second he started talking about Cuba.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I do not disagree with that. When he started talking about Cuba and becoming the Puerto Rico of the South or Miami of the South, no, I don't think that's the goal of that. I think Trump's going to make Trump and his family or his legacy is going to make a fortune off of Cuba, and I don't believe the average American is going to benefit on that stuff at all. I said this last night. I no longer see any evidence whatsoever that the Trump administration is actually about America first. I know he campaigned on it. I know he said it. They sold, merchandise and all that. I don't see any of that.
He said out his mouth, I don't care about the American suffering. It matters little to me.
Did he really need to say it? You can see it. Did he really need to even say it? You can kind of see it.
Yeah, he did need to say it because MAGA doesn't seem to think that way.
They still don't think that way. I've had Gen X, who I don't know if Gen X is tuned in right now. He kind of went off talking about the Democrats are taking Trump out of context, and he didn't. When he said he's not focused on on America's finances. It ain't what you guys are trying to say it is, and you're spinning it, just giving misinformation. He still is defending that. He's saying Trump did not mean it the way that the media and folks on the left and the right, by the way. He's saying it don't mean that. So they're still doing it.
See, look, you got somebody, right? And we can show you video of Trump saying it out his mouth. And this was live. This is not no AI video. This is not like a edited job. No, this is straight from his mouth.
Yeah.
Your suffering means nothing to him.
But see, that's what I mentioned.
He's playing chess.
He might be with Cuba, but see, that's what I mean when I said earlier when Gangsta Grandma was telling me to make sure every MAGA caller I bring up this Oklahoma pedophilia stuff, and I told him, I was like, for the most part, Trump supporters their go-to is to automatically resist any information that's negative about Trump. And I understand why, because they don't watch mainstream or left-leaning media. And right-leaning media do not cover negative stories on Trump. So the first thing they have, so anything you bring up that's negative on Trump, they haven't seen it because their networks are not covering it. So they're going to be like, there's no way in hell something like this could be true and I haven't heard about it. So their first go-to on anything negative about Trump is to resist it being valid. And then when you show them it's valid, you got to go to mainstream media or left-leaning media to show them the proof because it's not on right-wing media. And then their next go-to is not to believe mainstream or left-wing media. So it's real difficult to even get them to accept the truth because of how the media is skewed. Did I lose you? Yeah. Right, yeah. So it's really difficult. I mean, and now when you toss in a side order of AI, so even when you do, well, that's AI. I don't believe. So it's real hard to actually get MAGA to judge Trump fairly because all of the media they're watching portrays Trump positively, and any media that portrays Trump negatively, they don't believe that is true media. They believe all that's lies.
Which doesn't help us because we're trying to actually get to a point where we're not struggling. It's not even like we're trying to get to the point where like we're living our best lives. We just want to stop struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he says short-term pain for long-term gain. So according to Trump, you're going to suffer for a short period of time, and there's some kind of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And yes, we do. No. And in the comments, Kevin, we do read the chat. So we're reading your statement there. If you really want to be read, Super Chat will make the screen turn colors. We read all Super Chats, 100% guaranteed. But yeah, short-term pain for long-term gain, James. That's what he's saying.
What is this Buckeye guy talking about? I'm not taking accountability. Accountability for what? Trump's actions? The shit he's doing is affecting everybody. The second he got in office, what's been happening? People have been losing their jobs left and right. Industries have been dying. Places that's been open for 30, 40, 50 years have to close because of all these things that he's been doing.
Yeah. And well, is he saying no? You don't. He says you just want to keep complaining the rest of your life and blaming everything on everybody. Here's the thing I don't understand, because even if what he was saying was true about anybody, my response is going to be that's kind of the environment we're in now. Because you say you just want to keep complaining about for the rest of your life. I mean, every time you see Trump, he's complaining about something. So I mean, that's just kind of how we are as a country at this point. Anytime you hear the left, they're complaining about something. Anytime you hear the right, they're complaining about something. Anytime you hear the president, just today, he was still talking about something Obama didn't do right. And he used the term Sleepy Joe as well. He's still complaining about Biden and Obama. He's still doing it. So my guess is complaining about everything is just a political environment we live in.
And it's funny that these MAGA folks talk about take accountability, but every time one of these Trump people come in and they get questioned on, hey, why is this not working? Why is this not working? What's the first thing they say? Well, I mean, when Biden was in office, it was like this, and this. Not even addressing the issue that they have right in hand. They talk about some stuff way back in there.
I can't disagree with you, because right now with gas prices being the way they are, I've made a few videos on gas prices, and in every single video, I got MAGA talking about how much gas was under Biden. So we're at the point where you cannot even talk about the ongoing expense of gas right now without them. That is irrelevant to how much you're paying at the gas pump right now. I get that gas was high under Biden. We were complaining about that. The right made a lot of noise about that. But now that gas is high under Trump, going back and talking about Biden does nothing for anybody. But every single video in which you're talking about grocery prices or anything economic under Trump is going to feature MAGA talking about what was going on under Biden. That has no relevance. It's not going to solve anything. Like, the guy is gone. Like, bringing up Biden, I don't know, but it comes up in every single live stream.
Exactly. And then you had one guy press off some gas is up for a good reason. No, it's not. There was no reason for us to be there, and all this would have been good. And if that was the case, why isn't he doing things like releasing the reserves to help mitigate the gas prices?
Well, that I can't respond to. And in the comments, what did I say? Platoon or Platron says, y'all are not playing the whole thing. That is not what he was. I don't care what Trump says. There is always more video you need to play to help clear it up. It's like, when Biden said, vote for me, you ain't black, I have not heard a single liberal. I never heard a single liberal say, if you play more of the video, it don't make sense. Everything you criticize Trump on, if you only had to listen to a little bit more of the video, it would have made sense. I got to move it on, James. I got to move it on, but I appreciate you coming through, man.
No problem, Tom.
Thanks. Thank you. If you just listen to a little bit more of it, you'd understand. That's what they were saying about Charlie Kirk, too. If you're taking it out of context, if you just listen to a little bit more of it, it don't make sense. Looking in the comments, tap the screen, by the way, get the likes on up to 60,000, if you will. The Chemical says that if the Democrats lose the upcoming election, it will be the end of America. Democracy will be cooked. You think if the Democrats lose the midterms, that's the end? That's it? I don't know. It's going to take more than that, wouldn't it? That's saying a lot. Arnita says facts, though. Wow. You the man. Keep it up. Thank you, the guy who can't see. Whose name is that? Mountain Man. Thank you very much. Tap the screen, by the way. Get the likes up. Can't do that. We're at war. Need those reserves. You know, here's the problem, though. People are using the term war. They're picking and choosing when to use the term war when it benefits them. Like here you're saying we can't do that. We're at war. Todd is saying that. Yet there are plenty of MAGA saying because there was no war declared by Congress, this is not a war. Even with Trump continuing to state at every press conference, we're at war. But to defend President Trump for starting a war without going through Congress, which I believe is a violation of the Constitution, to make it look like Trump did not do something unconstitutional. MAGA's trying to say, well, it's not a war, it's a conflict, it's an excursion. Well, why the hell is he calling it a war? And then this individual here is saying, well, you can't really go into the reserves because we're at war. So what is it? Venezuela, Greenland, and Cuba is a power grab. Strategic moves for oil and territory and resources. Yes, coffee, I agree with that 100%. Greenland was about the precious, the rare earth minerals. But see, what's happening is President Trump is savvy enough that he's using alternative reasons to get into these countries that you can kind of get behind because they sound humanitarian. They sound like legit reasons. With Greenland, Russia or China could fire weapons into America over the polar ice caps, which would be over Greenland. So we need some type of anti-missile system on the island of Greenland. So that's why we're going in there. And then he said, well, we can't do it just as an ally. We need to own it, which makes no fucking sense. As long as they're letting you in, and Greenland was definitely letting us in. We have multiple bases there already. Why do you need to own their country? So he's trying to give you a safety reason for why he wants to go over there. But in reality, it's the rare earth minerals they have there. I had a citizen of Greenland on here a couple of nights ago. And they know what we want from there. We don't want to just put up some kind of Patriot battery system or whatever. We want their minerals. We want their materials in their country. And as he stated, it would cause environmental concerns in that area if America starts mining and drilling, and they don't want that. So that's why we're going into agreement. Same thing with Venezuela. Once again, a legit reason to do something else, which was fentanyl is killing Americans. You heard all this stuff, all the numbers they were giving you when he was blowing up the drug boats, talking about how many people die of fentanyl. You had Pam Bondi on TV, and all of them were actually giving numbers of how many Americans die from fentanyl abuse to justify blowing up the boats and then going in and taking out Maduro. Once he got into Venezuela and took out Maduro, you haven't heard the Trump administration talking about fentanyl at all. I think they kind of talked about it a little bit with his meeting with Xi Jinping the other day in China. But other than that, all of those other countries south of the border are shipping hardcore drugs in this country, including fentanyl. You're not hearing anything about that. So once we got what we wanted, the original cause, which was not valid, they stopped talking about it. And that's what happened in Iran. The original cause, a humanitarian reason, they're killing protesters. We need to get over there and stop that. Once we got in the country or started bombing them, we started killing innocent people too. We didn't care nothing about innocent people dying in Iran. We had no problem talking about taking out their water and taking out their power, blew up a school full of kids and blamed it on the Iranians. And then he was talking about your whole civilization is going to die tonight. But as one of my viewers stated, I guess if you take his comment about the whole civilization is going to die tonight and you listen to more video, it may make some sense. You took it out of context. You only listened to a small amount of it. But once he is in the country now, saving protesters is something you don't hear much about anymore. Because the original reasons we're given to go in these countries is not truthful. It's just to play on your heartstrings. Tap the screen, get the likes up. We'll go back to the box and move on with the program. We'll go to Travelman. Good evening, Travelman. Welcome to the program. Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel with Cuba. I don't know. Somebody help correct me. I need to get more MAGA up here because I would love to know. What is the U.S. Navy doing in the Strait playing Iran's waiting game? They got no other choice. The Strait is closed, and Iran has benefited. They're able to close the Strait in a way that even with superior military might, we can't just open back up. All you got to do is keep the people scared of what could happen in the Strait, and they're not going to want to go through it. And that's what's happening. I don't know what happened with Travelman. We'll go to Stick Darula. Good evening, Stick. Welcome back to the program. Hopefully you got the technical glitch fixed.
You let me and Travelman up. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay. I'll come back to you, Stick. I'll come back. Travelman, good evening. Travelman's gone. I don't know what's going on. We're having some major problems here. Let's try this again. What the fuck's going on with my box? Solar Tech, good evening.
Good evening, Tim. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. So, what brought you up? You've been hearing the show, talking about taking over Cuba. What brought you up?
What brought me out was to defend against the grandma, real quick.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because she was a little bit high because of the map that the MAGA brought. He brought a map of the age of consent.
Right.
What Oklahoma is having is the marriage consent.
Okay.
Two different things.
Mm-hmm.
The age of marriage in most of the United States is actually 18. That's not the same as the map he showed. He showed the map where you can have sex with consent, and that's the age of 16.
Yeah, but she made it sound like. Go ahead.
There is 2 states in the United States that you can marry at the age of 15 with an adult.
Is Oklahoma one of those?
Negative. Is Kansas and Hawaii. You can marry with a court order at the age of 15.
Hawaii.
You go in front of a judge and you get married. So she was right. They can marry minors.
But she made it sound like it was a Republican and white man thing. First of all, Hawaii is very blue, and there's not a lot of white men there. That ain't a white man paradise in Hawaii. They have their own people. So she made it sound like it was a bunch of white men trying to get with kids. If you're talking about Hawaii, that doesn't apply.
Yeah, and Hawaii doesn't apply. Kansas, somewhat. But the argument was that he said that the age of consent is minor with minor, which is not. Okay. The age of consent, you can have sexual contact with adults at the age of 16.
Okay.
And in most America, the age 13 to 15, they can have sexual relation up to 4 years without consent. 4 years older than them.
That makes sense.
So
yeah.
So she got agitated with his saying that it was minor against minor. The marriage. No, the marriage applies to adults having marriage with somebody that's 16.
Well, 16. I actually think he cleared up a lot because she was literally making it sound like 40-year-olds are out there going out and marrying 9-year-olds. And the way she made it sound, it was way, way worse than what it actually is. So he cleared up a lot. I mean, it's still not good. I don't favor what it is. I still don't support it, but it ain't nowhere near as bad as she was making it sound.
Yeah, it was not near as bad, but it was kind of misleading. She got too agitated. She couldn't think straight, in my opinion.
Yeah, because she saw she was losing the audience. That's what was making her get mad. She was losing, so I get it. She don't like to lose, apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So, about the Cuba thing with Trump.
Sure.
All he wants Cuba is so he can have something else under his name. Look, I did this. He wants to be known for a lot of things. All he wants is to have a plaque that says, look, I did all these great things. He's not doing it for the people. He's not doing it for us. Because if he goes attack Cuba, we're going to waste a lot of money. The taxpayer are going to lose a lot of money because if we take over Cuba, we can't leave Cuba just like that. We got to start fixing the infrastructure. Look at all the past wars that we've been to. Every time that we went in, we had to get billions of dollars to fix the infrastructure. Things that we destroyed.
It could be a big positive on Trump's record historically. I mean, long after Trump's gone, if we take over Cuba and finally you get somebody on the left who's not going to give Cuba back at all, no matter what. Once we got Cuba, people on the right and left are going to keep it. We're not going to give back territory. So eventually Cuba will be a better place to live than it is now. And it will all be because Trump originally made that move. So there will be some positive. Now, he may have started it in a negative way, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, let's say, African Americans. The reason we're here is terrible. It was slavery. But fact is, African Americans in this country live better than most blacks on the planet. So the premise was terrible. But over time, the outcome has been good. So I don't, and I'm not saying that to give credit to any fucking slave owner. Understand that, but I am saying that it could end up being better for Cuba going down the line.
Yes, I do agree with that. If he takes it, it will be something good because he's liberating the country, and it will be strategically a good military point. The only thing, like the previous caller stated, Russia is not going to let that happen. Why? Because Russia sells all their old military equipment to Cuba. All their old T-72.
You think Russia would stand up? You think if America tries to take Cuba, Russia's gonna get involved?
Yes, they will.
How?
They will.
How? In what way?
They have a partner right there. Cuba is essentially their eyes for Russia.
But you think we're going to let Russian supply ships get within that range? We would probably, just like with President Kennedy and the whole Cuban Missile Crisis, we're not going to let Russian ships get that close to the United States and supply Cuba. I don't think, even if Russia wants to help Cuba, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
We shouldn't, but with Trump being a little bit of a kiss at Tupuna sometimes, he might let it happen. He might let it happen saying, oh, he's just coming here to help us. I can see that happening.
Oh, my God.
I can see that happening. I can see that happening. But, because remember when Russia came where their ship last time, I think it was sometime last year, Trump didn't say anything.
But that was oil. That wasn't weapons.
It doesn't matter. In an oil tanker, you can sneak in weapons easily.
That is true.
He doesn't know the contents is there. He does not know what the content is there. So Russia can come in and say, oh, we're providing oil for the civilians that are losing power there because you guys are attacking the war. The civilians are innocent. Russia can say that, and Trump will say, okay, let it pass.
Even if, let's say you're right. I'm not even gonna argue with point. Let me concede your point. Let's say you're 100% right. I still don't think it would matter. No matter how many weapons Russia sneaks in an oil tanker to give to Cuba, they still would not be in a position to stop us if we want to go in that country. I mean, you're like right next to U.S. military, naval bases and shit. Right off, they can be in Cuba in a matter of hours. Russia's not going to be able to give them enough weapons to stop that. It will be over quick.
It should be over quick, but the damage is going to be the budget. We're going to run out of ammunition, like we're running right now out of ammunition in Iran, and that's just going to delay. And Trump's going to be like, well, we're putting a pause. He's going to say again, we're just putting a pause. And it's going to keep going to that until he comes out of office and says, I couldn't do it because the Democrat wouldn't approve my budget.
Well, I can't argue with you on that. I can't disagree with you that Trump is likely to release information that blames other people and is misleading. He kind of does that. Facts Only says, I don't think I want anything that's going to take over 400 years to see the benefits. I'm with you on that one, Facts Only. I understand how awful what I said sounded, but if he takes over Cuba, hopefully it don't take anywhere near that fucking long. Unless he takes over Cuba and they enslave the people. We're going to rebuild your country. We're going to do it with free Cuban labor. If he does that, you think Trump wants slavery though? You don't see Trump trying to enslave the people of Cuba, do you, Solar Tech?
Say that again?
You don't see Trump mistreating the people of Cuba, do you?
I mean, he doesn't care about Americans. I mean, he said on the news that he doesn't care about our financials. He literally said those words, I don't care about the American financials. Why would he care about another island of people? I mean, he didn't care about the Puerto Ricans. I'm Puerto Rican. He didn't care about Puerto Rico when he went over there last time there was a hurricane. So why would he care about new territory that if he acquires, he's going to care about them?
How do you respond to some of my viewers who suggest...
If they were white, it would have been a different story. If the Cubans were white, he would care.
So in other words, it's only about white people. Did you just say what I think you just said? That if Cuba...
Yes. Yes.
I don't know where to go.
If Cuba was white, he would care.
Wow. So what do you say? He's a racist?
I won't say he's a racist. It's more like he believes more that white people are above others. but not complete racist. I can't say he's a racist because I don't know the guy personally.
So you're describing a white supremacist, though. Whites are above everybody else.
Yes, he's more of a supremacist than a racist.
Wow. You're not the first to say that. I don't know where to go with that one, but I'm trying to think if he took over Cuba. I mean, look, I suppose there could be some positives from it.
There is positive. He takes over Cuba, like I said, it will be a strategic point, just like Puerto Rico is. It's a good strategic point for the for military. So now he will have that whole entire coast. So now nobody can come near the U.S. Because right now Russia has an excuse to come because they're allied with Cuba. They're friends with Cuba, so they can come. Once Cuba belongs to us, now there's nobody, no other country can come near the U.S. coast because they got no excuse. Everything belongs to us. Yeah. So it will be a better barrier.
In my opinion, some of these other nations that are south of the border, from Mexico all the way on down to Chile, they need to be educated on what the Monroe Doctrine is, and what was the other one? They used to call it Manifest Destiny. They need, it's like the Bruce Lee movie, where you got 20, 30 people and Bruce Lee is beating everybody's ass, but he's doing it one by one. And you're like, why won't you jump this guy all together? If these nations keep standing one by one, do you think Trump is going to end with Cuba?
Well, he doesn't have enough time to keep going. If he goes and runs for a year and the Republicans let him do that, he might continue little by little. Reel's still on the table, though. Reel's still on the table.
Well, wait a minute. Think about it. If he wins the midterms, because he would need to win the midterms for this to happen, but keep in mind, he hasn't even been in office 2 years yet. And look at how many countries he's been involved in. He has plenty of time to go to somebody else after Cuba.
I'm just assuming that he's going to lose the midterms. All the time shows that he's going to lose the midterms. He has to win the midterms, and that is really unlikely right now.
Well, shit, he has more people to go. He has more time even before the midterm. The midterms ain't until November. Cuba's going to fall in a matter of days. I mean, Cuba's not going to be able to stand an onslaught from America. That's going to fall quick.
It should, but we still haven't finished Iran yet.
True.
It was supposed to be 6 weeks. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Wow. I think all you got to do is park one carrier near Cuba and a small contingent of special forces with a little bit of air support, and I think that'll be the end of Cuba. I mean, and not to mention you got Guantanamo, so you could put a bunch of shit right there on the island to launch your attack from. You got a landing strip, you got all kinds of shit. Cuba would be quick.
It will be quick, but the other problem you're gonna have is guerrilla tactics. Just the same way how Castro took over Cuba with guerrilla tactics. They're gonna be being attacked by small arms every so often. That's gonna make things longer. Doesn't mean that they didn't took over the government. It's just saying that they're gonna continue fighting for years.
But that depends. Do the people of Cuba favor Castro to the point where they're willing to do guerrilla tactics and all that to stop the, because that hasn't happened in Venezuela. We're not dealing with guerrilla warfare in Venezuela. We took out who we wanted to. We put in somebody that's friendly to us, and there hasn't been any drama since of any significance. At least they may not be telling us everything, but go ahead.
Venezuela is more stable than Cuba. It is more stable than Cuba, and you do have some people in Cuba that does favor Castro. So you will have some opposition. You're always going to have some opposition. Because even if let's say they're all against Castro and Trump takes over, but he goes and installs somebody that's even worse than Castro, that all it does is a yes man to Trump, they're going to fight back.
But that's going to happen. Whoever ends up ruling Cuba after Trump takes out Castro, they're going to be a yes man. That's guaranteed. I see in the comments, I'm gone since double click or double somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be somebody that is very pro-Trump. That's guaranteed.
And that's going to be just like, what's this country near Russia that Russia took over before Ukraine? That they have
Are you talking about Georgia?
He have a yes man.
Crimea, Georgia?
Is it Georgia?
Well, he invaded Crimea. He invaded Georgia.
Was it Georgia that he installed somebody and they do anything that Putin says? So basically,
Is it Belarus?
Belarus, yeah,
Okay.
Belarus.
Yeah.
Belarus is yes man to Russia.
Yeah, they are.
Anything
They
Russia
are.
says. So that's what if Trump takes over, that's what's gonna be Cuba.
Yeah, Belarus.
Anything that he says, they're gonna do it.
Wow.
And even after he goes out of office, there might still be a yes man to him.
That sounds like the guy that's down there in El Salvador with CCOT. He's a yes man to Trump. He really is a big fan of President Trump. Let me ask you something before I move on, because I've been meaning to ask every guest this, but I haven't. But I'm going to ask you this because I talked about this at the beginning of the live. This is a controversial picture. I want to put it on the screen here, and I want you to give me your take on this. Does this mean anything to you at all?
The Confederate flags being raised by
yeah, it's kind of like a tribute to the folks on Iwo Jima. It's an editorial I saw, in the newspaper or whatever. Is this just ridiculous, or do you see any validity in this?
No, that is stupid. It's just dumb.
Okay. And to get into more detail, the people lifting the flag are supposed to be Supreme Court judges. And you can't really see it on the side here, but the Voting Rights Act is on the ground there. So they're raising these folks are in Supreme Court justices' robes. So these are all supposed to be judges raising that flag.
I mean, the Voting Act is still gonna be around. We the people still gotta say. We still got the Constitution on our side.
So you don't agree with some folks in the African American communities that are saying the Voting Rights Act is rolled back, their say-so, their voting power, and all that stuff.
Yeah, yes and no. The way I look at it, even though it's overturned now, once Democrats goes in power, it's gonna get overturned again. It's gonna go back and forth. So this is just a temporary thing.
I don't know if they can just overturn it and do it like that. I mean, because I suppose they could come up with a new act, but they would have to get enough votes to do that.
Yes. They'll have to come up with a new act, or they can always change the Supreme Court. They can either stack it, or they can also put term limits on the Supreme Court, or lower the age of retirement.
Well, you would expect President Trump to replace Alito and Clarence Thomas before you leave, right?
I hope not.
There's no way he's going to lead them in there. No way. I mean, I think one is 75, the other one is close to 76 or something like that, or 74 and 70. I think Clarence Thomas is 75 and Alito 74. They're plus or minus a year or something like that. Look, if Trump loses in the midterms, let's say the Democrats give him a resounding defeat, they still have 2 months before those Democrats are sworn in next January. So Congress and the Senate, this is the time they need to get stuff done because they know the liberals are coming. My guess is that's when they would replace Alito and Clarence Thomas toward the end of this year. Because, right, the Democrats may get in there and stack the courts, or they may get in there and try to do something that is anti, like you mentioned, an age limit or whatever. So my guess is he would replace them going out. And I don't think he would have any problem getting Clarence Thomas and Alito to volunteer to step down.
That is true. They might step down, but I don't think Clarence Thomas will step down. He likes his job. He likes the money that he be getting.
He likes gifts. He likes gifts. Elon.
He likes those gifts.
All you got to do is show up at Clarence Thomas's house with Elon and say, "Look, we got a really nice retirement in mind for you. And you got Elon standing next to you. Shit, show me where to sign. Show me where to sign." So I don't think
I would do the same thing.
Right. So we know Clarence Thomas likes gifts. You got Elon on the porch? Really? Y'all gonna do me like that? Show me where to sign up. Shit. I'm out. So I don't know. I think Clarence Thomas is gone. I gotta move it on though, Solar. Appreciate you coming in, man. Thanks for coming through.
All right, thanks.
Anytime. By the way, I haven't asked in a minute. I haven't solicited this, but help your boy out with the hat and mustache. tick-tock cap goes. Looking in the comments, Dencal says, Trump says he will put Rubio in charge of Cuba. It's going to be like putting Hamid Karzai probably in charge of Afghanistan. My guess, it depends on how they take it on. We'll see. I mean, because look, I think there are plenty of people in Cuba that does not like the Castros because of how they came in power. I went to Puerto Rico, I don't know, it's been a few years ago. And I remember touring the Bacardi factory and stuff they had there. And they were giving us some, you go on a tour and they give you some history in Puerto Rico. And in the Bacardi factory, they were talking about Cuba. And the owner of that factory, they fled to Puerto Rico because the Castros was taking everybody's businesses. Communists, they were taking people's businesses from them. Alter Ego. Thank you very much. Somebody showing your boy some love. Thank you, Alter Ego. So, listen, if you got a successful business and all of a sudden you get a dictator in there and he's taking the businesses and saying your business now belongs to the government, there's going to be a whole lot of people in the country that are not going to like that. So my guess is there are plenty of Cubans that do not like the current government in place. But are they going to trust the Trump administration after seeing what happened in Venezuela, after seeing Iran? They're hearing about this stuff. Not to mention our immigration policies has been horrible to the Hispanic community. That's just getting televised all over the world. They know we deporting people to Africa and bragging about putting them on alligator islands and shit like that. This is the guy that's talking about replacing Castro and running your country. You really feel confident he gonna be a great guy? I mean, Trump is saying a lot of inhumane things. Not to mention Cuba's in the dark right now because of President Trump. So he ain't coming over there looking like Mother Teresa or the Pope. I don't know. They may want to get rid of Castro, but I don't know how well they're going to view Trump as coming in there because his aura precedes him. He's done a lot of things, particularly with the Hispanic community, that they probably do not feel favorable. And there's a lot of Cubans. There's a lot of Cubans that probably feel betrayed by President Trump and Marco Rubio as well. Because remember, you used to be able to leave the oppressive Castro regime, and if you could just step 1 foot on the U.S. mainland, you were automatically allowed to stay. Trump got rid of that. Trump is the first president to get rid of that. That ain't very favorable to Cuba. He got rid of that. So I don't think Cuba looked at that and was like, yay, that's a great idea. That sounds awesome. He got rid of that. So anybody who came over here and was hoping some of their loved ones or relatives or even friends or people they know could finally escape that oppressive regime and come the same way, he stopped that. He closed that avenue off. So I don't know how they view him. Look, you can have one guy that sucks, a dictator that sucks, get replaced with another guy that sucks. It can happen that way. Replacing Castro doesn't mean the next guy's going to be a good guy also. So that remains to be seen. Looking in the comments, Cuba is such a mess now. They want change. Yeah, they want change. But you can change. Look, you can get out of one bad marriage and get in another one. You can change women and get another one that sucks too. So just because Trump has changed don't mean that's good change. Think about it that way. Looking in the comments, what about Haiti? I don't think they give a damn about Haiti. Haiti is an island full of people eating cats and dogs, if you ask Trump. Tap the screen, get the likes up. Cuba has an abundance of resources. Well, the people are going to be resources, cheap labor. If Trump like I said, if Trump gets control of Cuba and they start building, you'll hear Trump talking about Americans can go here now. Americans can take nice vacations and shit here. Well, the place has got to be built. The infrastructure's got to be put in. We're going to pay those people pennies on the dollar. It'll be just like any other, what businesses do. They find people that work for dirt cheap and they pocket the profits. It'll be Trump and somebody that he knows getting no bid contracts and shit like that. And it'll be a bunch of really, really low paying Cuban labor building the hotels, building the roads, building the infrastructure. It'll be people who are getting paid virtually nothing. Marty Marr, appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you there. Appreciate that. Let me go back to the box. We'll try it again with Travelman. Paul, you need to realize Iran's still controlling the strait and sunk a cargo ship 2 days ago. Wow, did they just sink another? Well, Trump, here's the problem with this stuff. You got to get your news from more sources than just Trump or even the United States. Because a lot of the news Trump is giving you for what's going on in Iran, it's just not accurate. I mean, I'm not even going to say it's suspect. Some of the stuff is just intentionally misleading. It's just not accurate. The strait's open, the strait's closed. They're begging for a ceasefire. Some of that stuff he's saying is not true. Travel me. Good evening.
Hey Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing Cuba. You want Cuba? You want that on our? You want that on our resume?
And talk to you in a couple of days. First of all, let me address that picture that you had.
Okay.
It's a disgrace.
A disgrace that it was created. A disgrace that it was created.
That was going up. That was a flag mounting on Iwo Jima on Mount Suribachi. It is a freaking disgrace that they would do something. Anybody would do something like that, especially with a Confederate flag. That is an insult to everybody that fought in World War II, and it's an insult to any veteran that fought in any war after that or that served this country.
Well, you do realize the Confederacy was an army, and there are people who
I don't give a fuck about the Confederacy. The Confederacy was a bunch of traitors that tried to destroy this country. That's what they tried to do. Oh. They can dress it up any way they want to. They are traitors. They tried to destroy the country. They seceded from the United States of America to try to create their own country, their own currency. They had their own president, their own capital. Yeah. And to put something like that, depicting something that is so important in our history as far as the World War II is concerned, and the campaigns that took place in the Western Pacific, and the number of people that lost their lives, especially at Iwo Jima, Saipan, Tarawa, Peleliu, and you're going to have these assholes put something out there like that. To me, that's telling me that when you think they haven't went any further, the some bitches break out a backhoe and they dig the hole even deeper. It's an insult to veterans, and it's an insult to our country.
Well, to be honest, based on what you're saying about how they were traitors to the nation and how they tried to break the nation up, then you believe the Confederate flag itself is insulting.
Yes, it is. It is.
I was told
it's just like in Virginia. In Virginia, Tim, they used to have Route 1 in Virginia. Used to be called Jefferson Davis Highway. We had a freaking road named after a traitor. We have military bases named after traitors that was part of the Confederate Army.
We still do.
And we still do. And the assholes that got in it, man.
Did he get a call? Travelman, are you there? Did my system go down? You guys can still hear me? Because he's still there. Let me know if you can still hear me, because I don't hear him. Okay, he did get a call or something. I guess he went blank there. We'll give it a minute. I don't want to hear the...
Can you hear me, Tim?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, somebody tried to call me.
Okay.
It's an insult.
But wait a minute. I've been told since I was a little kid, seeing this flag on top of the car in the show Dukes of Hazzard, that this flag is nothing more than a symbol of pride and heritage.
That flag is a symbol of people that tried to destroy the United States of America. That's what it is. That's what it is. The Confederacy was states seceding from the Union. That's it.
Why do you think they wanted to do that?
Well, you know why, Tim.
I gotta ask. That's my job, Travelman. I gotta ask.
Man.
I gotta ask.
Why?
Yes, why?
You know why?
I gotta ask.
I gotta ask. One of the main they gonna tell you other things, but one of the main reasons was that they didn't want slavery to end because of how profitable it was. So they can dress it up with, call it any other thing they want to, and come up with all kind of excuses. But 25-30% of the Southern families owned slaves, and at the time, 1860, before the Civil War started, slaves were worth over $3 billion. They were the most valuable asset in the United States.
Well, speaking of
They
which,
worth more than the railroads and stuff.
speaking of which, and that's what Buck-ass says in the comments, because he's saying, as someone in the South, you guys are trying to steal our assets. You were trying to steal our labor.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. That's what it was. It was worth, if they were worth $3 billion in 1860, Tim, you talking about, I don't know, what would that be worth today?
Shit.
1.7 trillion?
Yeah, it would be way the hell up there. It would be way the hell up there.
Yeah, not to mention that at the time, what was driving the economy in the United States? Cotton.
Yeah, their labor.
Which was their labor was driving it all. The North benefited from it because they had the factories, and the South benefited from the free labor. So I'm not gonna get into and dwell on that because that's a whole different. I can talk about that all the time because I love Black history. But yeah, that anybody that say they like that picture, man, they need to. They suffer from
and I got one of my viewers, Melissa, says it was about the North trying to steal tax money. So you were taxing improperly taxing
Get the hell out of here. She don't know what the hell she talking about. That's one of them trying to come up with another excuse, man. That's all that is. You had 4 million people in freaking slavery. That's what it was about.
Well,
generating wealth.
Well, let's get something clear because I'm hearing a whole bunch of liberals and minorities in particular that are trying to make references that Trump somehow, some way wants to return us back to that era. You don't buy into that, do you?
Nope.
Okay, good. That's better. So Trump is not trying to take us back.
This is 2026. Okay. You're not gonna get the same reaction that you got back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s when Black folks really didn't have any rights and was really mistreated legally, socially, economically. You don't have that now. So no, I'm not going with that now. Are some of the things they're doing, they are rolling back. They're not rolling back rights. They're rolling back protections. That's what they're doing. That's what the Voting Rights Act was. It was a protection, and that's what they're doing. And if you look at it, somebody compared this court to the same one that did, I think, Plessy versus Ferguson.
Yeah.
Haney, I think, was a Supreme Court justice. And when you look at it, you kind of say, it's kind of interesting.
It will be one of the most historic decisions in recent memory.
Yeah.
That and abortion thing.
Yeah, you compare this court to that particular court, and you will see a lot of similarities. And the reason you had the VRA, and the only thing you need to do is look at the map. Look who's doing things right now. You go back to what was that versus Holder? I forget the first part of it. When they first went after the Voting Rights Act, I think it was in 2013.
With Eric Holder.
Yeah, I forget who the other guy who was bringing the suit, but Holder was the AG.
Okay.
And that's when they first. I think that's when they went after Section 5. I think was when they first. That's the first time they went when they did it, and now they went after Section 2. I think is what it's called. And so those were two of the main ones where they had to do the pre-clearance and all of that stuff. And if you go back and take a look at in 2013, that's when Roberts was saying, we need to. It's not as bad as it was. We can do this or whatever. As soon as that ruling came down, the same thing happened that happened this time. Look how fast they started changing.
Yeah, it's just like with rolling back abortion rights. The minute or rolling back Roe v. Wade, the minute they rolled back Roe v. Wade, people started changing the next day. Like, we about to go ahead and cash in on this.
Yeah, and the thing about it, they're pretty blatant about it. When you don't have that many seats anyway down south,
Yeah. Do you picture down south being a place where blacks have virtually little to no representation going forward?
It's not gonna be many. It's not gonna be many. Tennessee won't have any. Mississippi probably, because they're gonna take Benny Thompson out. They want to take Benny Thompson out, and now you even got the dude in South Carolina talking about they might go after Clyburn. You know,
So what?
these
So
southern states.
what happens with the African? Do you think the African Americans will do anything about this?
What can we? I mean, first of all, you got to be organized. Okay. Right now we're fragmented. There isn't a national. There isn't national leadership.
Right.
Okay. And so back in the 50s, you had the bus boycott, you had Jim Crow. People coalesce around that. This might be something where people can coalesce around and say, "Hey, wait a minute, you're diluting my vote." You know, because if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be doing it. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I mean,
You know,
even if they, I mean, other than besides protesting and marching, what more can they do?
it's called bro. You know,
Are
it's
we
not.
are we talking BLM riots and shit like that?
No. We need to move past that. You got to go into the economic side of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. You got to use the economics of it. I don't know how it would be organized, but you have to come up with a plan. And then once again, like I said, you got to have unity in order to implement that plan. So
I don't even know what economically they could do. I mean, what you're trying to hurt the state?
Well, what we have to do, you have to start at the local level.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do. You got to start at the local level and start putting electing the people there. I mean, all the way down to the school boards. You know, you got to get out. We have to get out and vote. And even though they diluted the vote, see what people sometimes I think forget is that number one, the Republicans have pretty much lost the black vote for another generation. Okay. Number two, they have pretty much lost the independence just based on the behavior and the policies that they've passed since they've been in office this time. I think independence is down to 25%.
Yeah, but the loss of the independent is just a Trump-related thing. I think now the black vote, this is going to set and the Hispanic vote to some degree. They're going to set those two votes back some generations, but the independents, you can get them back.
But what I'm saying is that if you take, let's say, go down into Tennessee, and you take the independents down there and put them in with the Democrats, then they can take over some of the seats. I think this thing is not going to be as bad as everybody think it's going to be. And the reason I believe that is the country is so jacked up right now that the independents are really pissed off at Trump. The black people pissed off at Trump. Latinos are pissed off at Trump. He's lost a lot of support.
Yeah, some of the traditional conservatives ain't happy with him either. So I get what you're saying. What you're saying is some of this gerrymandering. They don't realize you're just putting people that are pissed off with Trump with Democrats. I mean, you're not necessarily going to get them either. So I can see that.
And they also diluted. They also weakened some of the district that they're in to gerrymander them. So they made some of their own people weaker. You know, but they have been known to do that. You know, they have been known to bite off the nose to spite the face. You know.
Yeah, but what if he alleges fraud, and he tells the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and the Senate Majority Leader, don't certify the victor because I believe that particular congressman or woman won by fraud. Like when he tried to get Mike Pence to do in the election, I think Mike Johnson would do that. So all of a sudden, even if the Democrats win, you might have 5 or 6 Democrats that won, and Trump is saying they won by fraud, and Mike Johnson is like, well, until an investigation is concluded, we're not going to swear them in.
Yeah, but what if they pick up 35 or 40 seats? It ain't gonna make a difference.
You think it'll be that many? I don't know if they're gonna win.
Well, they did it before, right? Then they pick up in 2020. Yeah. One of those years they picked up just like one time the Republicans picked up about 30 or 40 seats. You know, where if they pick up 30 or 40 seats, like I say, the gerrymandering won't matter. Now the Congressional Black Caucus is gonna take a hit because they say they're gonna lose about 17 members. Wow. That's the estimate. But that might not, once again, it might not come true. You know, because you got some good young guys.
So if the Democrats do win, like a lot of the political analysts are suggesting in the midterm, let's say they win the House and the Senate, what will the next 2 years be like? Because you know they're coming after Trump from every angle possible. Does the country just come to a halt?
No, no. What we'll probably get is more vetoes.
All the people they're gonna be trying to think about, all the folks they're gonna be saying committed criminal activity. Everybody from Pam Bondi on down. So you got nonstop. C-SPAN is gonna be the most watched channel in America.
You gonna have so many damn investigations,
right?
And committee hearings. But see, they always say Republicans win elections and Democrats govern. Okay. So they're gonna pass some bill. They're gonna do some stuff because they have to if they want to win again.
This gonna be one of them cases where they're gonna tell Congress no days off. With Democrats win, ain't no vacations. Y'all gonna be working for the rest of these 2 years.
But you know what though? It wouldn't take much for them to exceed the number of days that the Congress been in session since Mike Johnson been in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is the last two. This one and the one before is stacking up to be some of the least productive in the history of the country. But having said that, yeah, you know the Democrat they have to because last time Trump was in office, the first 2 years they had control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And for 2 years, Trump ran amok. They didn't have any investigations, nothing, until the Democrats came in. This time is even worse. He ain't just been running amok in the United States. He been running amok around the whole fucking world. He has we are just about isolated. We stuck in Iran. They don't know how the hell they gonna get out of there. Now you know he said that Iran. Now they getting to the point where they're saying, well, maybe Iran don't have to give up their uranium. I just read that.
It's a mess. It's a fuck up. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a fuck up.
So it's even more. He's even more out of control. And then you got all these no bid contracts. I know a lot of contract specialists and stuff, man. They don't. In order to do a no bid contract, it has to be a freaking emergency. When I worked for CBP, we had a couple of no bid contracts. I don't know if you remember one time LAX International Terminal was down for like 8 hours, you know, because of network. The network went down, you know. And so once they found out what caused it, they were like, oh no, we can't have this happen again. And so they did a no bid contract. I think it went to IBM or somebody, and we had to hit all the airports to make sure, you know, upgrade equipment and networks and stuff like that. So now you got, you know, he went to the Fed and he was in Jerome Powell last about a cost overrun. But then when you look at anything that he's associated with, the reflection pool, it went from a 1.3 million, I think it's up to, I don't know what it's up to. First it was 7 million. Somebody said 13 million.
Shit, the ballroom went from 200 million to $1 billion.
You know, now they need $1 billion for security around the White. You seen the White House? You seen the compound?
Yo,
$1 billion. You could damn near rebuild DC for that. You know, so everything is going up, man. You know, and
yeah,
now
the optics of all of these unnecessary vanity and lavish products, while the economy and Americans are struggling, like it's ridiculous. I mean, like
and you gotta wait to see. Now they getting ready to. In a couple of months, they're gonna start on the Kennedy Center. I'm waiting to see what they're gonna do with that because I heard they're gonna take it down to the beams. That's what I heard.
Shit, by the time they get done with it, Kennedy name won't even be on it no more.
Oh, see, they'll still be on there, but you know, it's just all this crazy stuff they're doing, man. You know, like they just stopped a 4,000 troop rotation to Poland to participate in a NATO exercise with it was going to be about 30,000 troops involved. They were already en route. They was already moving equipment over there. They was already moving troops over there, and HEXF stopped it.
Let me ask you that as a military guy. Before I let you go, let me ask you that if all of a sudden we take Cuba, does that leave the door wide open for China and Taiwan? At that point, can we complain about them taking over a country with us just literally taking over country after country, invading people like this? I mean, does this open up the door for them to be able to do it?
What can we say?
Right.
What can we say? You know, not only do we have the base down there, But the Navy, when we go out for our workups and stuff, we go to Guantanamo. That's our operating area down there for training and stuff. We go down there. So you got the Navy, got stuff going on down there. You got the other base going on. The thing about Taiwan is that could actually have worldwide ramifications.
We covered it yesterday with the microprocessors. We covered that.
I think that's one of the main things that's kind of holding. I think that's one of the main things that's kind of holding China back. I mean, they could overwhelm Taiwan, but Taiwan also have a lot of. I think besides Israel, Taiwan probably has the most advanced weaponry from the United States than any other country. You know, they've been buying weapons from us for like 30 years. You know, so their pilots are U.S. trained. They got air defense systems. They got all of that stuff. I mean,
shit, under Trump, you even guarantee that America will continue giving them the parts they need to keep that shit active?
No.
So
I mean, look what they did. Look what they did to Ukraine.
Right.
And Ukraine is making you know, they making progress on their own. You know, they getting more from the Europeans in NATO than they are from us.
Would NATO, if we allow China to take Taiwan, would NATO stay in place?
Yeah.
You think it would stay?
Yeah, that's North Atlantic. That's North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You know, you got a different.
I'm just saying, would they still be okay with us being in NATO as a member? If we're taking over countries right now, because we're a bad actor on the world stage. Yeah. We currently are a bad actor.
We're a bad actor, and for some reason, you got a lot of people, MAGA or whatever. Some people that still got the American arrogance that seem to think that NATO can't survive without the United States. That's a lie. That's a bunch of BS. Yes, it can. There's 31 countries. A lot of people fail to realize we're one country. Yeah, we're the big dog on the block. But right now, the respect that we have, our word that we give, all that shit is gone, man.
Yeah.
No country trusts us. You know, they trust Iran more than they trust us. Hell, Iran don't even trust us because we dropped poo-pews on them twice while we was negotiating with them. So what country gonna believe us if they negotiating with us? Man, they like we can't believe anything you say.
Not to mention threatening a NATO member nation like Greenland. I'm sure that's really hurting.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, so that's what it is, man. Hey, before I go, let everybody know, the USS Ford will be pulling in tomorrow. They already flew off the air wing is already off the ship. They probably sitting somewhere right outside the Chesapeake Bay. And they will be pulling in tomorrow, finishing up 320 days of being deployed.
Damn.
Which is also another sign of poor planning for an aircraft carrier to be out that long when you had. Especially, I can understand if they were out for 11 months and they were in the Med, in the Med to the Indian Ocean. I can understand that. But they were in the Med. They brought them all the way back across the Atlantic into the Caribbean. Stayed there for a couple of months, then sent them back across the Med, back across the Atlantic to the Med, through the Suez Canal, and down into the.
That might hurt recruitment for
Indian
a while.
Ocean.
That might hurt recruitment. You know, I gotta go.
Yeah.
We'll see. But thanks for coming through, Travelman. I appreciate it.
Man. Take care, man.
You too. All right, looking in the comments, is he talking about the Abraham Lincoln? No, he said the Ford. You got to be at least 100 on a boot. What? You got to be at least 100 on a boot. You just don't come with a passport from Cuba. They had freedom and security before we even got there. Let them buy oil from Venezuela and start farming again. I think it's about wanting to control them. Tap the screen, by the way. Get the likes on up to 95. We might be able to get over 100,000 if you let your thumbs not be lazy. There's a few hundred people in here. We can certainly make that happen. Tap the screen, get the likes up. By the way, if you're watching us currently live on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, or Clapper, follow the program. If you happen to be a viewer on YouTube right now, watching us live, give us a sub. We're here most weekdays. We'll be here this weekend as well. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. Program is open to all callers, left, right, and indifferent. We are MAGA friendly. We criticize folks on both sides, but the program is MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome as well. That's how we do it. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. And yes, you can be critical of anybody on the program, including yours truly. Let me try it. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to the one and only Dencal as an Instagram video. Yeah, Instagram. Yeah, that is Instagram is the other app. Sometimes I forget the platforms I'm on. But Instagram. We'll see if we can get Dencal up. Good evening, Dencal. Welcome to the program.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey. So Cuba it is. What say you?
That's just another poor political decision to make at this particular time, especially. But you know, we back on our colonizer tip.
Let me ask you: if you're suggesting that we're somehow going back to the era of colonization, do you think Cuba's the last place?
No, definitely. They're one of the first, really.
Ooh.
One of the first.
Who might be next?
I mean, we got a whole bunch of the Caribbean that's right now that's being controlled by France and Britain. You know, we might want to scoop them up too.
He would have to. Okay, Trump is 80 come this November. You think Vance and Rubio have that same agenda of colonization?
Well, I mean, they don't look at it as colonization. They look at it as liberating.
What, they going to Africa and liberating black folks, huh?
They ain't gonna be able to liberate. They ain't gonna be able to liberate Africa because.
No. I'm saying the slave owners, they went to Africa and liberated black folks, huh? They call it liberating.
Right.
Liberated the Native Americans.
Brought us back to America and gave us 3 hots and a cot.
I don't even know if it was a cot. They put your ass on the ground. And the meals weren't hot. They fed your ass grits and guts.
Hey, down in Florida, they say we was getting skills training.
It actually did say that too. That actually is something they really did say.
They put us in trade school.
Yeah, graduation was you were graduate. You didn't move your tassel at graduation. You got hit with a whip. So I don't think I want to go to that school anymore.
We was living on campus, huh?
Yeah, right. Living on campus for the rest of your fucking life. So what about the notion that the Epstein saga is still looming, and obviously the midterms are coming up, and you heard what he said when he was standing next to Zelensky, that you can't hold an election while we're at war. Is it possible that some of this stuff may be a distraction? I mean, as long as we continue being at war, we're not really talking about Epstein.
Right. Well, look, none of that stuff is going to change until we get a new Congress. Like, nothing's going to happen as long as he's got control of Johnson and what's the other one, Thune.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he's got control of those two people, none of that stuff nothing is going to come of it. And as long as if those people don't have congressional hearings and refer that stuff to the DOJ, which he controls that too, there'll be nothing that comes of that stuff. You heard his personal lawyer say, well, we're just not going to talk anymore about those files. It just came in and said it.
What happened to MAGA? I got to ask you this. What happened to, and for my beloved MAGA in the audience, I'm talking to you. MAGA was really gung-ho about this Epstein shit. Tom Hanks was on the list. Oprah Winfrey was on the list. Will Smith. All of a sudden, Trump gets in office. Where is their attitude towards getting to the bottom of this? They were gung-ho about this stuff under Biden. What happened to them?
Hey, Trump derangement syndrome. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. It's Trump derangement syndrome. They can't look. Was that you that posted that thing of the female that had the Trump tattoo across her back?
Yes.
The first thing MAGA said was, "That's AI."
Yep. Yeah.
That's the first thing. Like, they cannot admit anything when it comes to going against Trump. Nothing. Trump was there tap dancing in front of Xi.
Yeah.
And
Nothing came.
If you watch Fox News, you would have thought he had the most successful trip. He went over there and handled business. He got nothing.
Yep. I was saying the same thing. I'm like, when you really look at the nitty gritty of him meeting with Xi Jinping, Yeah, nothing came out of it. He hung out with that guy for 2 days, and they both exchanged pleasantries to their own people, making it sound like each person is punking out the other. But yeah, we're not gonna. I mean, well, Xi Jinping thinks that Iran should not be able to close the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, but did he commit to do anything about it? I mean, he just said, yeah, he just said, according to Trump, he just said that China don't think they should be able to charge money in tolls. Well, but they're not going to do anything about it, so that's useless information.
Right, and then people who think we came to some type of stalemate, no, we didn't. China actually got something out of this. He got Trump to stop the arms sales to Taiwan. That is a win for China.
Okay.
There's been no president that's gone over there and said we're gonna do anything different about our allies in Taiwan. They talk stuff about Biden because he said, yeah, we'll fight for them.
So we've officially, I didn't even hear that. So we officially are no longer going to sell weapons to Taiwan, because my last guest, Travelman, was just talking about that.
We already have a deal with them. We deliver part of it, but the president now is holding up the rest of that arms deal.
So Taiwan is under the bus officially.
Saying that is a win for China.
Yeah, no shit, it's a big win. So in other words, Taiwan is already officially under the bus.
Taiwan is under the bus, but Trump is so screwed in this because everybody knows that Taiwan makes about 90 to 93% of the chips that we need for our military. If they've already built islands, man-made islands around Taiwan.
Right.
That would protect the Chinese military if somebody tried to interfere with them taking over Taiwan. And Xi made it clear, one of the first things he said to Trump is, fuck around and find out if you make the wrong decisions about Taiwan. He said that to Trump's face. Not in those words.
Right.
He said, you got to make the, y'all better make
So in other words, okay, just like with Iran, we attack Iran and they showed us they could fuck with our gas prices by closing the strait. What you're saying is now that we don't throw Taiwan under the bus, they're going to fuck with us as well by controlling how much we can receive microprocessors.
They have been doing that. They have been manipulating us as far as that. Now, they don't want no full-scale war because China plays the long game.
It just sounds like Trump is stepping on minds.
They don't have to give us any concessions as long as they just don't attack Taiwan. They playing the long game with us because what he also got them to do is say that he's considering allowing the Chinese people that get oil to transit the straits. That's a win for China. These people don't understand what the fuck just happened in these last couple of days.
He's gotta expect. Wait, China has to be giving us something. Trump ain't this dumb, is he? The man plays checkers for a living.
He said, "Look, what he gave us is that we're not gonna take Taiwan right now. That's what he gave us. Everything else we gave him." Trump sat there looking like a bump on a log, looking like a lost puppy. He did not. Every time he meets with a foreign leader, what does he do? Every foreign leader except for Putin. What does he do? He talks shit to them about how he got the cards and how they, he treat them all like subservient countries. Not this one.
Well, how about this? How about this? This comment is coming from someone with the name The Truth. Says, don't be a moron. You have no idea what they spoke about. The people get told basic information, but at the top secret level of the actual talk, you'll never know. At least you sound like you're smart. How do you respond to that?
I would say this person doesn't even know Donald Trump if he thinks everything is handled behind closed doors with Donald Trump. There were no back channel negotiations. Whenever you have a high-level meeting between two of the biggest countries, the most powerful countries in the world, it's usually ceremonial, where they go and they sign these deals and they talk about what they're doing for each other. Trump doesn't operate like that. He goes there thinking he can make a deal with people, and other countries don't operate like that. Yeah. We know what happened with Trump because he he's going to tell you.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I was just about to say that when he said they have high secret level talks. I'm like, Trump tells you all his business. Trump tells you. Trump don't keep nothing secret.
When they asked him what did he get out of it, he said, "Well, they agreed that that Iran can't have a nuclear bomb. That's not a win. That you didn't get anything by him saying something that he said they're not gonna have a nuclear bomb, but he ain't gonna do nothing to stop them from getting it."
Yeah, I mean the thing about it is because Trump likes to boast and brag on anything he perceives as an accomplishment. If he gets something from Iran that he thinks is a win, yeah, it ain't gonna be held to no top secret level. He's gonna get online and brag about it. So yeah, you gonna know about that.
He's talking about, well, they did say that, that's not a win for Trump. We know Trump.
Shit.
So for them trying to act like they want to go back to the normal thing, like how normal things happen. You don't go to talk to the second most powerful country in the world, and you don't have anything in concrete. They tell me, well, they decided to buy 200 Boeing jets. They decided that shit years ago. And what they said was they were supposed to purchase between 300 and 700 ships. So they came in even under than what they was expected to do. That was not a win.
So in other words, the Trump administration is trying to spin it to sound like it's more positive than it really is.
As they always do, but at least you have something, like you have something concrete to be able to judge it off of. We got nothing. They didn't talk about the tariffs. They didn't talk about a lot of stuff that really mattered because China is playing a long game. And he knows that Trump is in a fucked up situation. And he did not agree to help in one bit. While Trump went there and said, yeah, we had good conversations, and whenever we had a problem, we called each other and we talk it out. Bullshit. You were talking shit about China his first term and all this talking about, well, we're going to slow down China because they get a lot of their energy from Iran. You're not. They still moving their oil through the fucking Straits of Hormuz. They not lacking nothing.
So China's you're correct about the fact Trump has been critical of China. People were even mocking how he was saying it. He's been critical of China the whole time. So yeah, for him to say they call each other like they're good old buddies and chums makes no sense based on what he says publicly. So
what did he say before? He was talking about they are manipulating their currency and we're not going to take it anymore. And now what is he doing? Putting wars in place so he can manipulate the Fed, trying to make people do what he's trying to manipulate the market. They found out he made like 2,300 trades since he's been the president, buying regular stocks like me and you.
Wait, you saying Trump? It was found that Trump has made 2,300 trades while being president?
Yes, buying stocks like Apple and Nvidia, just like me and you. No conflict of interest. Nobody said a motherfucking thing.
Wow. Yeah, that's got to be a straight crime in itself. That's got to be a crime.
We've had this conversation before. If they refer to the DOJ, they're referring it to his personal lawyer.
And that's where the problem is. You're not going to get any justice as long as folks are working, under his thumb like that. You can't. The DOJ is certainly. And here's what I don't get: the right can clearly see the bias in MS Now or the bias in CNN, but they don't see the bias in his DOJ. I mean, that is.
They can't see that Sean Hannity is literally on the plane with him, going to fucking China, having an interview in China. He comes back and he gets on TV. But they want to say, oh my goodness, these other channels are treasonous because they're saying stuff that I don't like.
Yeah, I don't think Trump or even MAGA to that degree cares about biased news. They just want it to be in their favor because, I mean, we could talk about MS Now being a left-wing network, which it absolutely is, but Fox is further to the right than even MS Now is to the left. In fact, I don't think there's any network that is more biased than Fox because many of Fox News personalities have went right from the network to working from Trump or working from Trump to write to the network. No other network has had so many exchanges like that with any party.
They were literally on the campaign stage
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they talking about other people, like who they want everybody to be on their side. Like that's not even like how democracy is supposed to work. But they cool with it. They cool with saying that the country is no longer racial or anything like that. But the moment the Supreme Court says what they said, all the southern states, all of them went to take away all of the power of any black leadership down south. All of it.
Well, then, of course, before I let you go, you get a chance to get the photo. What does this photo, if anything, say to you?
It is so symbolic of what's actually happening. And I understand some of the other vets think, it's so blasphemy for somebody to even do this. But if you sit down and think about what it is saying and how the Supreme Court is now replanting the flag of the Confederacy, it is so on point. Even though it might be bad to say, and I don't think it's disrespectful to the veterans. I think it's disrespectful. It's shedding a light on what is happening metaphorically. You got the Voting Rights Act underneath one of their shoes, while they're allowing these Confederate states to take all control of any black representation. And I thought in the forefathers says no taxation without representation. So I'm wondering, does that mean we don't have to pay taxes? Since we don't have no leadership, nobody to speak for us, can we withhold our taxes now? Because that's what it's going to be. They're forcing us to live under the premise and the laws and rules of people who do not represent us. And they don't give us any choice in the matter. Well,
before I let you go, and Cedric Haney, thank you for the hat and mustache. I appreciate that. I asked this with my last guest, Travelman, but how will the African American community respond to this? If their vote is meaningless, because a lot of folks on the right are like, we're not taking your vote away, you still can vote. But I agree with you. Yeah, you can vote, but your vote is going to be marginalized because they're putting you in. Here's the example I give. It's like putting you in Chinatown. And you're voting with those people. Yeah, you still can vote, but because there's far more of them and the way they vote is so vastly different than how you vote, your vote is essentially meaningless. But nobody's stopping you from voting. So what I'm saying is, how will the African Americans react to this? Will they do anything to their votes being marginalized?
There will be a lot of people out here trying to organize, but we're so disjointed right now as a collective, as a group. Unfortunately, it's going to have to get a lot worse for us before it gets any better, before we collectively, because we still, me personally and a lot of people I know, we still live fairly decent. You know what I'm saying? We still live good. So as a collective, it's going to be hard to get enough people to come up out of their middle-class homes and with their nice cars and their kids in school. It's going to be hard to get us as a collective, like one of your comments was saying, we got to do it economically. Look, we could barely make a dent in Target. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order for us to do it, we would have to collectively say we're going to have to stop spending our money on certain things. And people just are too spoiled right now to be. So
they actually would need to do some Jim Crow type shit to get people, to motivate people.
Yeah. I think that's what, that's, we just about as close as you can get. Once they take away your right for representation, you're close to Jim Crow. Ooh. But, I don't know what it would take, to be honest. I never foresaw this happening so quickly. We said it might happen, but I never thought they would just be in a position, and now you got the president come on TV today saying, well, the states that don't redistrict for me, they're not with us anymore.
What?
So whatever states down south don't decide to gerrymander, so they can get more seats for Trump. He said he don't mess with them no more.
That's dictator without being a dictator. I mean,
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's just a fucking threat. I gotta move it on, Dinkat. That's horrible, but this is who we elected. That's just a straight up threat to the southern states.
Right.
Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right, moving on with the program. Before we go to the next caller, tap the screen, get us on up to 110. Some of you folks can show your boy some love. Help out with the hat mustache TikTok cap goals. Could someone help me with $1? That ain't what happens here, Lola girls or whatever. That's not how this works. If the Dems, I saw that in the comments. I had nothing to do with electing Trump, says Rick Young. Well, I say that's what we elected. We as a country elected Trump. So this, and I said it on anything, this is what we voted for. We as a country voted for Trump. Because when it comes to Iran, or you heard my last caller saying people don't trust us and stuff like that, Maestro, yeehaw! Appreciate the hat mustache, Maestro. Iran is not saying Democrats and Republicans. Neither is Venezuela or Russia. America voted Trump in. So when Trump is talking about NATO has to go and all of this shit, America voted in a government that is anti-NATO or, pro taking over other countries or, all of the stuff we're doing. They don't see it Democrat versus Republican. We all are on the hook for this. They see, like when Trump broke the deal that Obama made with Iran, that's America breaking that deal. Just like when Obama made the deal, that was America making that deal. Which is why I've been saying from day one that when Trump done that, he makes it clear that America's word is not trustworthy. Because America made a deal with Iran, and then America broke the deal with Iran. You can make up an excuse for why you did it. Well, I don't think they were honoring the deal. Well, I mean, we're making up excuses for going into Venezuela, making up excuses for going into Cuba, made up an excuse for attacking Iran. But that don't mean the excuse is accurate. I don't like bringing up Hitler too often, but he made an excuse for every move he made. Everything he did, up to and including putting people in ovens. He had a reason for why he did that. He gave you a reason for why it was necessary. So you're going to make up an excuse. You're not just going to come out and say, I'm an awful guy. You're always going to create a reason for why you're doing it. Looking in the comments, I didn't vote and I'm not complaining because nothing has changed for me since Trump's been in office because I'm a foundational Black American. All presidents have lied to us. Nothing has changed for you? Do you drive a car? Do you buy groceries? Do you eat food? Nothing has changed for you, huh? Okay. You tried to purchase a home recently? Nothing has changed. The country is just running the same as it was when Biden was in office as a foundational Black American, huh? It's first I've ever heard of that. Tap the screen. Let me go back to the box. We'll make it happen with Stick dropped. We'll try it with Claude YF. Nah, fascist party wasn't written on the ballot clearly. They spelled it Republican. Damn. Claude, good evening.
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on.
All right. Check this out. Have you heard about Trump saying he's going to drop his lawsuit for $1.7 billion and give it to the victims of Biden DOJ?
That ain't going. Who is the lawsuit against?
Excuse me?
Who is he suing?
His own
DOJ.
IRS.
I believe he might get the money because the courts are on his side. So any lawsuit he put in against his own IRS officials, he's probably going to win. I don't believe he's going to get the money away though. I don't buy that. I believe that's a lie.
But the one from January 6th get some of that money.
That's crazy.
What you think about that?
I think
so
it's
they
crazy.
Getting paid.
I think it's crazy that you could invade the White House or the Capitol building rather, and receive so much love and adoration from the president. I think it's crazy. I just really think it's crazy.
I'm surprised you haven't heard this. You haven't heard this?
I haven't heard the part about him giving money to them. Said he was going to give them money. I haven't heard that. But I talked about this yesterday.
Who are the
One of
victims
my
of Biden DOJ?
Yeah, I talked about this yesterday because one of my guests was criticizing liberal judges that let criminals out. And I told him that this is the same thing. I mean, you have a liberal judge that believes that some kid from the urban, from some city kid got mistreated by the system or maybe over sentenced. The liberal judge lets the kid out, and then the kid goes out and reoffends, maybe even, God forbid, commits a murder or something like that. And the right is screaming, see, you can't have these liberal judges because they're too soft on crime and they're letting people out. And I made the comparison that Trump did the exact same thing. He believed that the system was too hard on the January 6th participants. He pardoned them, let them out, and a lot of them have went on to reoffend. It's literally the same thing. And they're not saying anything about it under Trump that they were under the liberal judges.
But it seems like now they're going to get paid. I'm surprised you haven't heard this.
I have not heard it. It may have came up. I don't know. Look, under the Trump administration, there's so much news because Gangsta Grandma started the program off talking about there were Republicans voting against ending child marriage, and I hadn't heard that either.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either.
Yeah, I mean,
15 and 16, they're kids.
Yeah, so under the Trump administration, it's just like Steve Bannon once said, flood the zone. There is just so much going on so quickly.
And he's doing it right now with everything.
Yeah, so it's impossible to hear everything. And with the division in this country, even up to it,
too much on your mind.
Yeah, even with the division in this country, up to and including the media, depending on which media outlet you watch, you're going to hear certain stories and other stories you may not hear at all. Clyde, did I lose you? I think we got some problems.
This one's
we may have some problems with his signals going in and out. But yeah, the problem is you're not going to hear every story because it depends on what news. Like I watch a lot of News Nation. When I'm working during the day, I listen to CNN, but get phone calls, listening to just some good old-fashioned house music. So I don't listen to the news a lot during the workday, but because I drive a lot, I'm in the car, so I could. But I'm listening to music, making phone calls and things like that. But during the day, I have CNN on Sirius XM in my car. During the evening, I'm watching News Nation. And then I try to read articles from Fox. And I'm just simply telling you, each one of those networks, stories are completely ignored or given a lot of attention. Like Somali Fraud on Fox got tons of segments for Somali Fraud. Some of the fraudsters that Trump pardoned, zero coverage. Zero coverage, they didn't cover it at all. So any of the fraud from the right, Fox doesn't cover it at all. Fraud from the left, they didn't cover it excessively. And the left does the same thing in reverse. So if you only watch some news, you're just going to miss stories. Like in the comments, JB says CNN is why you know nothing. As if you're sitting around watching Fox, OANN, or Newsmax and you're getting the full story. I can tell you this. Say what you want about CNN. I guarantee you they are covering shit that the news you're watching is not covering. I guarantee you that if you watch CNN, you're going to learn things you didn't know. Because you're just automatically dismissing every single thing covered on CNN as fake. And you're watching the right as everything they're covering is fact. And that's just not true. All news leans a little bit here or there. So you're picking, look, if you're watching a news network that regularly gets access to Trump, he's calling into the network voluntarily, putting on Air Force One, inviting them at, RNC meetings and shit. That ain't legit shit. They hanging around him. They got a good relationship with him. Some of their commentators got his personal phone number and shit like that. You're not getting legitimate news from Fox. That's a pro-Trump network, period. That might as well be state TV. Anything Trump says, they're going to come on and report it as fact. They're not going to question it. If they get Trump on the phone, every question is going to be a softball question. They're not going to push back on anything he says. But then you watch CNN and you say, that's fake news. Yeah. I watched numerous news outlets, but not CNN. Yeah, okay. I believe that like I believe I'm a white man. You're watching numerous news outlets that all lean right. if you have that opinion about CNN, and keep it, CNN, out of all the networks, CNN doesn't lean that far to the left. That's what Trump says. MS Now leans formerly known as MSNBC. They lean much further left than CNN. CNN doesn't even lean that far to the fucking left. If you're avoiding CNN, then that lets me know you're watching some pretty far right news. You're just watching all right wing shit, because you got plenty of commentators and what do they call them? Contributors. That's what they call them. Contributors to the CNN network that are Republicans. There's plenty of people on CNN that push back from a right wing perspective. If you think that is left, that just shows how far you are to the right. You're watching far right shit. You're watching, podcasts by Glenn Beck and shit like that, and thinking that you're getting fair and balanced news. I'm sorry, sir. I cannot follow your discussion since I'm so distracted by the signage, clock, and everything printed. It's all backwards. Guess how I'll be missing your coverage. Okay, well, listen, you don't have to quote unquote watch the coverage. This works as a radio program just as well. You don't have to be actually staring at the screen to watch my gorgeous self or ugly ass, depending on who you ask. But you don't actually have to. This doesn't have to be visual, because most of the stuff I play, audio will work. I'm so thankful that the majority of black people don't support Donald Trump's ideology. And I think that number has grown, Alonzo. I really think that number has grown. Fox and MS Now are too partisan. Yeah, that's true. Fox News and MS Now are very partisan. But like I said, to me, Fox News is even more partisan than MS Now, because Fox News regularly have contributors that leave the network and go actually work for the administration. Obviously, Pete Hegseth used to work at Fox. Judge Jeanine Pirro is another one that used to work at Fox. And once Trump's administration is gone, you'll probably see, what is her name? His spokeswoman. I can't think of it. I'm about to say Kareem, but that's Biden's spokeswoman. Whatever Trump's, what is the girl? Carolyn Leavitt. She's probably going to be working at Fox. She's probably going to end up being a Fox News contributor. I mean, so a lot of the people go right from either Fox News and work for Trump, or vice versa and go the other way. That network is very, very right-leaning. I mean, it ain't just right-leaning, it's Trump. It's like a Trump network. In fact, Megyn Kelly, I used to play the clip, but Megyn Kelly, who used to work at Fox, and Bill O'Reilly, both of them have said it. Both of them who are no longer at Fox, both of them have said it. And Bill O'Reilly actually said Fox News is the Trump network. I'll see if I can find a clip of him, but he actually is on video saying, he says Fox News. He said, when I used to work at Fox, he said our network, he said about 60 to 65% of the people that watch Fox were Republican. And he gave a number for independents, and a few of the watchers were Democrat. And he said now about 90% of the people that watch Fox are MAGA, or are Republicans. He said about 60% or something like that was MAGA. He said this basically is a Trump network now. He said that. Bill O'Reilly, like the flagship of the network. And of course, Megyn Kelly was pretty big on there as well. Both of them came out and said that it's pretty much a Trump network now. Anyway, looking in the box, or better in the comments, the administration is acting like an imperialist regime, says Kelbrew. Tap the screen. We'll take the next caller at 110. Trump obviously watches both to draw his moves from. There's no need to watch Fox. You already know what, it's like your mama owns the network. You already know what they're covering on there is going to be in favor of you. You don't really need to watch Fox. Everything they're saying is in favor of him anyway. We all need to repent and ask for forgiveness each day. Trump is on video saying he's never asked God for forgiveness, so I guess he doesn't fall in that. Yes, someday, hopefully before I retire, because Trump will get rid of Social Security. I don't know if it'll end with him, but I do believe that Social Security is in jeopardy. Let me go back to the box, tap the screen, get us up to 110, if you will, and we'll go to Tamar. Good evening, Tamar. Welcome to the program. Good evening, Tamar.
Yeah, what's up, Tim?
Not much at all.
You can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay.
So what brings you on tonight?
Just listening. But it's so much with this orange guy. It's like we're being ran by a pack of children in the wild.
A pack of children in the wild. Damn.
Like Lord of the Flies.
This is
if
who
everybody remembers that.
What do I always say? This is who we voted for, man.
Yeah, I didn't vote for it, but I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Like he said, when he was talking about China, he was talking about I think she said something about America being on the decline, and he goes and says automatically that he attaches that to Biden on the world stage. Like why are you kicking the former leaders back in on the world stage? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, how do you really think that makes America look to people? Like, do you really think that's cool? Like, the people that support Trump, do you really think that's cool for him to do that?
I don't think anything we're doing on the world stage is cool. I know Trump says we're the hottest nation on earth and we're respected now. I don't buy that at all. I don't see what we're doing that would lead other nations to respect us. Maybe fear us, maybe question us, maybe not trust us, but I don't see what we're doing to make other nations respect us.
He's trying so hard to secure legacies for himself by doing things that's not really what's needed. But he's trying so busy trying to secure that legacy for himself, like by doing the reflector pool and the ballroom and putting his name on currency and doing this and like everything he's doing is like he's trying to do it to secure the Kennedy Center. He's trying to secure his legacy, but. You know, he's sitting there just saying Biden was the worst president, and you're by far probably the most unpopular president in history.
Well, you can't tell him that.
So how can Biden be that bad? Biden had the CHIPS Act. Biden tried to do infrastructure, which they really gave him a hard time. Why would you give somebody a hard time about infrastructure? Biden took over. Biden's the only president in modern history that didn't get a warrant. What do you call it? The transfer of power. In the middle of a pandemic because he was pouting about the election.
Trump was trying to say he stole the election.
So Afghanistan, while it was Trump's idea, you know, and that was probably dumb for Biden to keep the same plan. We went along with it, and it ended up being kind of a disaster, but. You didn't have no transfer of power to talk about, hey, you know, this is what we have going on with Afghanistan. This is what we have going on with this. This is what we have going on with, you know what I mean? Like Biden was basically coming in blind, in a sense. And I'm not the biggest Biden fan, but I had to start looking.
Do you think things would be going better right now in this country if Biden was still president?
Yeah, it would. I mean. I think he dropped the ball on how he handled immigration. He did. He was giving too many people, what is it, TPS?
Temporary protected status. Well, not only temporary protected status, just letting anybody come over and claim asylum and be able to stay here at least temporarily.
Yeah, and I don't know what their plan was, why they were doing it that way, but all that stuff is the reason why we got what we got now.
Well, here is what likely folks say was likely to plan, and I don't know if I totally disagree with MAGA. I think MAGA may be onto something with this, and that is Democrats were favorable to letting people come in this country because they felt that them folks would eventually turn into voters. I mean, eventually, because most immigrants that come here, at least the brown and black ones, they likely are, once they get legalized or once they have children and their children vote, they likely are going to be overwhelmingly Democrats. I mean, because the right treats them so badly.
I understand what you're saying, but you can't do what they did. It's not.
Yeah, I get that.
Feasible. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's not a good thing to continue. It's something that can't be carried on for long periods of time. I understand, I get the idea, but it was a bad idea.
Yeah. And
it's the reason why we got what we got now. Part of all this stuff with the transgender rights and stuff. I'm not saying, before anybody gets upset and says I'm not saying they don't deserve our rights, but I think you focus too much on it.
I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree with you. I don't believe the Democrats are focusing so much on trans and LGBTQ rights. I think the Republicans did a really good job of branding them like they were. I don't think the Democrats are all so gung ho about. There's not even that many trans in the country. I mean, there's all kinds of Democrat meetings and town halls you can go to, and there was no trans there at all. It's the right did a good job at making it sound like trans are everywhere, and the Democrats are defending them everywhere. It ain't even that many of them. So
I agree, but a lot of people that you talk to, some people said, I'm voting for Trump because I don't want my kids having to call man or woman and stuff like they shouldn't be taught about that in their schools and stuff. Yeah. You get what I'm trying to say? Like I get it, and then I also get why a lot of people actually fell for what Trump was doing. Like you said, Trump sold a good game. He offered a lot of good shit to people.
Yeah.
And like forcing you like having your kids not have to call a man or woman, even though here's
what I think is absolutely fucking bonkers. You don't want the Democrats having trans and people around and fucking your kid's head up, but the other people don't believe your kids should get a free lunch in schools, and they're even protecting what amounts to the biggest pedophile scheme probably in world history. Them are the people that are convincing you they're better for your children than the Democrats with this trans shit. They're keeping hidden what looks like the biggest pedophilia scam probably in world history. But they're better for kids than the Democrats are. Make it make sense to me.
I mean, nothing makes sense right now, Tim. Nothing makes sense right now. I mean, it's just every day you listen to the news or you click on a video on YouTube and it's just like, my goodness, like they're trying to do this. There's a country in Africa right now they're like, hey, you guys want your AIDS medicine or you better give us all these minerals. I forget the name of the country, but it's a country in Africa right now that they're basically like, we're not going to give you your HIV meds if you don't.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I did hear about that. I heard about that story. I mean, look what they did to USAID. And something interesting you mentioned in that country that they're holding the HIV meds for random, and not to mention all of the countries that are hurting from them not sending US aid like wheat, grain, and medical supplies to as well. What's interesting about it is Trump is doing all this stuff that is hurting folks in Africa and all these other countries, and we're supposed to believe that if he takes over Cuba, he's going to do right by the Cuban people. And that's what I was telling one of my earlier guests.
Right by Venezuela.
Right.
He's got gold and everything from them. He's put the money our money from the oil. He put it in an account in like Qatar or whatever that is, somewhere in the Middle East, in his own account, and that he has control of. Like
I didn't hear that. Wait a minute. Say that again. So some of the Venezuelan. Say that again.
The profits that he's making from the oil, he put in his own account in one of those countries in the Middle East.
Venezuelan oil that he commandeered that cargo ship.
Yes, the money that he's making from that, he's put it in his own. He says some of it, and it's supposed to be going to the Venezuelan people too. Maybe some of it is, but for the most part, why is that in a private account in his name that only he has access to?
Here's what I want to. One thing I want to say, because in the comments, I believe this is MAGA, and we enjoy talking to MAGA. Bama Landscaper says what you're talking about, but the Venezuelan thing is not true. I mentioned this, right? This is the first I'm hearing it, but one thing I want to say, because this is the first I'm hearing of that, but one of the things I want to say is the first response from MAGA to any negative press or story about Trump is it's not true. How do you know? It's just anything that comes up, like I said, even when J.D. Vance was asked, why would Trump say he don't care about people's finances? He's only working on making sure Iran doesn't have a bomb. He didn't believe it. His first response was he didn't say that. Like the first response.
And he said it 3 times. He said it 3 times, Tim. He tripled. Not only did he double down on it, he tripled down on it that day. Triple.
It makes it as somebody who, like I said, I enjoy talking to MAGA just as much as liberals, and we get in debates, but it really makes it hard to convey information when you favor somebody so much so that your first response is, that ain't true. You don't even know the story. You just automatically have it in your head that anything negative about him can't be true. It has to be liberals just making it up. That's crazy.
MAGA, I'm convinced that Trump could walk into their household right now, take the wife and do it right on the table, and they would say, "Oh, Mr. President, I'm so honored that you chose me to do this to." Yeah. I'm dead serious.
Yeah. That's why he said he could kill somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, because half of the country under MAGA. Well, that ain't true. And Bama Landscaper says, "How do you know it's true?" I don't. That's why first thing I said is I haven't heard this yet. I didn't say it was fact. I didn't say it was fiction. You instantly said it's fiction.
Google it.
He just instantly. That ain't true.
Tell him to Google it and see if I'm lying.
I mean,
Google it right now.
It's just crazy. Anything, just like I said, anything you bring up about Trump, it's hard to get anybody to have a conversation because they're so resistant to it can't be true. Only news about Trump that has to be true is positive news. You tell them something good about Trump, they believe that instantly. You tell them something negative, that can't be true. Like, I don't want to throw the code word around, but do you really believe that anybody can not have anything negative about him at all? And all the good stuff is just true.
That's why I said he could just walk in the house and just have his way with their wife, and they would probably, oh, he's just playing with her. Oh, they're just playing. Oh, yeah, Becky, relax.
I mean, it is literally crazy. Or what you get is, yeah, he said that, but if you had just watched another 10 minutes of his speech, you would have understood it meant something different. Gen X is in the box now. He's the one that's, when Trump said he's not focused on people's finances, he's kind of one that's saying that. If you had to listen to all of it, you'd understand it meant something else. Like,
no, Gen X is trolling probably.
No, he means that. No, Gen X is serious. Gen X is serious.
Oh, my man, Gen X. I actually kind of like Gen X now, so I'm not even going to.
I like Gen X a lot, but listen, like I said, I enjoy talking to MAGA. I really like Gen X. I don't mind talking to MAGA or even far-right MAGA, but that is my analyzation of them. Is any negative information on Trump, they are automatically resistive to it, as opposed to having an open mind. Is this something that is the liberals making this up, or is this shit really true? They don't view it like that. Their view is instantly liberals must be lying. It's just an instant go-to to automatically defend them.
Well, where's your boy Colt Talk been? I haven't seen him lately.
Straight Talk? I actually was on his live. I was on Straight Talk's live was it yesterday or the day before? He's still out there. He don't like the Galaxy. He don't like the Galaxy program.
He don't got no followers. And he comes on your show to try to get followers. And then I seen our boy Handsome Conservative over there one time with him. It was just them two. And he had the little Trump on the Mount Rushmore, and it was like 40 minutes later, it was just them two talking. I said, God damn. I said, this no follower having motherfucker over here.
Well, I like them all. Listen, we don't agree on shit, but as long as we can have a civilized conversation, I talk to Mac. That's the only time you see me if I'm not doing my own thing is I'm in MAGA-oriented programs. I enjoy talking to them.
I see you sometimes.
But you know
what else? I came on one MAGA thing and one time, and I think his name was like Uncle Lou or something like that. I don't know. But whatever the case is, he had these people on here, and they were like bashing like Islamic religion and stuff, and then they started talking about the Iran-U.S. conflict, and he asked me something about like basically like saying like Democrats were treason, which was what they were doing was treasonous, like about them speaking against the a war, like I guess the way they were talking about it. So I was like, no, I said, but what I consider treasonous is the Confederate flag. That's a treasonous flag. I said, they tried to tell me, no, that's history, this and that. I'm like, dude, like you're gonna allow these people on your page, and he was a black dude, but black or whatever. Still, how are you gonna sit there and say that the Confederates were not treason? Did not commit treason? But you're willing to call people Democrats treasonous for not wanting to support the war. I support what America was doing.
I never could understand that how you could try to divide the nation up and be responsible for the deaths of more U.S. veterans than any war in history because there was Americans on both sides, in the Civil War, but the Confederates were responsible for more deaths lost in any war than any other war we've ever had. And how do you end up getting streets and schools and shit? It should have been outlawed. You can't name any damn thing after these motherfuckers. I mean, if let's say BLM wanted to have an all-black nation, and they rose up from all 50 states and met up and was trying to do the same shit the Confederate, I guarantee they ain't gonna go around naming shit after them folks. You're not gonna get them statues and shit. I mean, that's crazy.
Could you imagine it?
It's not gonna happen. It's not you gonna name schools and shit after these people. I mean, they tried to literally kill Abraham Lincoln. Like, can you imagine BLM rising up trying to kill the president and shit? Now they want military bases and schools and shit and days to honor them. That would never happen.
Never.
It's crazy.
And then he's sitting there calling members of the press. Oh, I believe that you could. Just today he said it. What you're saying is treasonous or treasonous. Like what? Because he's talking about the war. Because he's not talking in the way that he wants them to talk about it. He believes that that's treason.
Well, you got to understand, when it comes to President Trump, if you go against him, he thinks that's treason. I think he called Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor and said she committed treason. Doing what?
I understand, but he is the president of the United States. Yeah. And he's acting like a freaking 5-year-old. He acts like, literally, when I say that he's Eric Cartman from South Park, I mean that. Like, he really, except that he's just not poor. That's the only thing. That's the only difference between him and Trump, is that Cartman is a poor kid and Trump was born rich. But everything how he acts is just like an immature 10-year-old or whatever how old they are in South Park.
Yeah, I really do not like them, because obviously treason and being a traitor can, the penalty for that can be death. I really don't like how he throws that word around like that. It's one thing we're having a MAGA versus liberal debate and we throw it around. We're just having a debate. But coming from President of the United States on U.S. stationery, that shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't, calling a congressman or a congresswoman a traitor or treasonous from the president, it just shouldn't be happening.
With no proof.
But
then all the stuff he posted on Obama, all that QAnon shit that he reposted all through the night about Obama. Like, what? You're crazy. And I don't understand why these people don't come back. Like Gavin Newsom, I think he did, like last week he was coming back with some posts, but I don't understand why nobody doesn't call him out on this stuff. Like, challenge him to, like, oh, I'm a little okay, let's sit there and let's have a thing. Like I think Gavin Newsom just did it. He was like, let's have an IQ test, or let's have a
I mean, that's like the guy told Pete Hegseth, the FBI guy, Cash Patel, taking alcohol. I mean, they're not going to do that stuff. You can tell them they're not going to do it. I mean, the Cash Patel told the guy, yeah, I'll submit to it. He didn't do it. I mean, so they'll just say that.
He's another nightmare. This guy's directing on FBI, and he's like a deer in headlights most of the time, looking stupid. And well, what about you? What about this? And like all of them act like children.
Well,
it's crazy.
I mean,
it's
listen, they know they're acting out for an audience of one. They know Trump likes when you push back against Democrats in the media. So anytime you see him, that's what they're going to be doing, because they know Trump likes that. Push back against the Democrats in the media anytime you get a chance to. Not only Trump, but MAGA likes it as well. I got to move on tomorrow, but this is what we voted for, man.
Yeah. Have a good night, Tim.
You too. Thank you for coming through. Real quick in the comments, I do want to address a comment I thought was interesting, because you hear this all the time when you talk about the Confederate statues and stuff. Paul says, if you erase history, you can never learn from it or teach others. Two things I want to say. First of all, a statue or naming a military base after a Confederate soldier and then removing that is not erasing history. Perfect example, there are no statues of Hitler in Germany. Once Saddam Hussein was taken out of power, they took all the statues and things of him. The history is still there. So a statue is not history. It's a tribute to history. History cannot be erased. And trust me, this country have tried. They're telling you Jesus was a white, was a blue-eyed white man. So they're trying, but you can't erase history. That's a tribute to history. So that's like saying, when Pete Rose, the the Cincinnati Reds baseball player, when he got caught gambling and shit like that, he doesn't make the Hall of Fame and all of that. Maybe they put an asterisk. That don't take away from what he did. The history is still there. People were at those games. Hell, I still got Pete Rose baseball cards. It doesn't take away history. So you're confusing a tribute with actual history. If you got rid of every Confederate statue and every Confederate name, base, and school and street, that doesn't remove the history of the Confederates. It still happened. It's still there. So the idea that it's removing history is crazy. But then I have to bring up, Trump has tried to take off, what did he? He tried to remove the Smithsonian, exhibits in the Smithsonian, certain books that talk about real, actual history. He's doing the same shit. You don't seem to have a problem with that. Trump is doing all of it. If you really want to, and what Trump is trying to do is take down, to make it so you can't even learn about it. So it's the same shit. You just favor the Confederates and you don't favor Black history, so to speak. But a Confederate statue, and let me just say this also, because the notion is if you take down a Confederate statue, you're removing history. Go up to any Confederate statue and you'll notice at the base of that statue, there's a plaque. Tells you about the guy, Stonewall Jackson, General Lee, whoever it is. There's a plaque at the bottom of it. You think that fucking plaque is accurate? You think that plaque tells you what he was really fighting for or what he really did? That plaque ain't telling you everything about the guy anyway. So if you take that statue down, you may be removing history that's inaccurate to begin with. What they're telling you about them guys is they're giving you a rosy picture of the fact that they were fighting to maintain some of the most inhumane acts in mankind's history. None of that's on the plaque, though. None of that's on the plaque. It's like a plaque of Hitler talking about he created the Volkswagen. I mean, the history is not, what's on the plaque is not even accurate. So you're not erasing history by taking down Confederate statues. You're erasing, what you're doing is you're removing the tribute to those people. But the history of what they actually did, that ain't going nowhere. So it's not actually removing history. Looking in the comments, I see your logic, but I disagree. No biggie. Main thing is it's not a flex to be a Confederate. No, I agree with that part, and we can disagree on the other part. You still see Confederate flags being flown. Look, you can fly the Confederate flag. I'm all for free speech. I'm 100% behind that. What I disagree with is trying to pretend like it's about pride and heritage. It's about exactly what people think it's about. Because when you think about the pride and heritage of the South, you think about the country was founded in 1776? Think about how long the South has been in existence. Now compare that to how long the Civil War took place. When the Confederate or the Stars and Bars or what they call it, the battle flag or when that's a tiny, tiny period of history. And it's literally the darkest period of history in the South, when people were literally getting slaughtered and trying to break the country up. It's the darkest period in the history of the South. If you were going to honor your pride and heritage, why would you pick that period? That's like the Dahmer family walking around flying the flag of Jeffrey. Out of all of the other Dahmers out there, you're going to pick this dude because we want to honor the Dahmer family. That's what that looks like. You're picking the darkest part of the history of the South. I mean, there's all kinds of things. There's beautiful rivers, peaches, sunshine, palm trees. There's all kinds of great things about the South. If you wanted to honor the pride and heritage of the South, you're going to pick the darkest part of it when all the murdering and the fight over slavery and all that was taking place. It ain't about pride and heritage. It's about exactly what people think it's about. And you can just simply tell from how it's flown, where it's flown. It's really hard to find a hate group, a Caucasian-based hate group that does not fly that flag, the Pride and Heritage flag. Most Caucasian-based hate groups have that flag amongst their ranks. But you think it's about pride and heritage with the white Aryan nation too? It's almost all of them. When they're flying that flag, I mean, when they're when they're talking and preaching hate, the Klan, all of them, you can go back and see pictures and photos of the Klan going all the way back as far back as the invention of the camera and invention of video. They were already flying that flag. Most of the hate groups fly the Confederate flag. Pride and heritage, huh? In the comments, who says, somebody, I can't see the name, but he says, you don't know shit from Sinaloa jail. Or from Sinaloa, pal. I don't know what you're saying there. Right, the people that were here didn't discover, oh, you guys are talking amongst each other. That's what's going on. It was founded in 1776 when it was here hundreds of years ago. Could have been 1600s. Christopher Columbus discovered America. Oh, that's what you're arguing about. I'm saying when we were founded. I'm not even going back into the disputed part of us fighting with the natives and all. The country was founded in 1776. I'm just going to go with that. I get what you're saying. Yes, there were settlers here already trying to establish the nation before that. I'm going with the day it was founded. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I don't buy into the notion that getting rid of Confederate memorabilia is somehow erasing history, because they're not being honest about what history was about anyway. So you're not getting that. That would be like saying taking down pictures and pamphlets that feature a white, blue-eyed Jesus is trying to erase history. The history ain't accurate. So yeah, if you want to say it's erasing inaccuracies, if you want to look at it that way. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 114,000 likes. Thank you, folks, as well. And some of you folks that showed your boy some love with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goals. We will be here this weekend. You favor this type of broadcast, left, right, and indifferent. Substack, TikTok, Clapper, and Instagram. Follow us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a sub, and we'll certainly pick this up later. Sherbert, my apologies, but I got to step away. Sherbert, I did accidentally, but my apologies. Anyhow, it's your boy Tim the Handsome Liberal. I got to go. Catch you later. Thank you.